All right, we're live. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Jesus.
So sorry, guys. So sorry about the long wait there. I'm still learning how to do all this stream shit. Um, welcome, welcome to the first ever Whitepill Wednesday podcast. Welcome. Uh, I am here with James, close friend of mine. I don't know if you guys tuned into the election stream. Um, but yeah, he was there too. That stream was so fucking scuffed, man. I'm glad that we're we're learning from those lessons.
Yeah, well, we figure it out as we go, right? Well, I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
much learning we did, considering it just took us like a half hour to figure out what the hell was wrong with the stream. Well, I say us, but I'm not doing fuck all.
Man, you know what the problem was? I had
Mm.
the I had the webcam mic enabled on too, so it was trying to like deal with two inputs at the same time and just having a conniption.
Jeez. Yeah, I kind of figured something was being overridden because it got to a point where I couldn't even hear you, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. I think the levels are fine. I was just listening to us talking back there, so should be good. Let me just share this link real quick. Um, do, 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 do. All right, bear with me for 1 second. Stream is live. Beautiful.
Are you
Okay.
going to? Are you still gonna? Are you still gonna stream your desktop through Discord or no?
Oh yeah, my mistake. Let me chat that real quick. Okay, we can get started. You got it?
Yeah, give me 1 second. How come I can't see? Oh, there it is. Man, Discord is kind of janky.
It's funny that it took like something like Discord to come along and just completely dominate the
Yeah.
I don't know, like just the communications part. Like I remember using like TeamSpeak, um, Skype for the longest time. Oh my god,
Oh my
Skype.
god.
I fucking hated Skype. Holy
It's,
shit, dude. You know what's still a
see,
thing?
if I had internet as a kid, I would have Skype called people while playing Call of Duty too.
Dude, that's the thing. It used so many resources. It was so fucking bloated that it literally like it harbored so much from your system that you just couldn't fucking keep up with it. Especially like back then because you're like the specs weren't exactly, you know, high end. You weren't dealing with like DDR5 RAM and like the 6 GB video cards and all that. At most you had like 8 RAM or something. So Skype was like Chrome. It was just devouring your RAM like a nice little snack.
So you just use MSN Messenger like a man.
Yep, MSN Messenger. That was also the favorite.
I remember using that for like a year before Facebook came out, and then that was the end of that.
My brother used to use something called ICQ, which for the old fags
I remember that.
that are listening, you'll recognize the fuck. There's that sound, the ICQ sound. It's like a notification.
You about to throw me into a nostalgia trip?
Oh, here we go.
Dude, we're showing our age. Come on.
The fucking oh
What
oh.
what the hell? Okay. He's triggered a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Oh, right, because my audio actually comes through for you. Okay, right. I totally forgot the desktop audio.
You're like, how are you hearing this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a part of this stream too, motherfucker.
there's so God. You know what? Streaming like streamers make it look so easy, but man, it's fucking it's work, man. Set that shit up and try to keep it all in your head.
Well,
Understanding
this
where
is
all the
only the
sources come
second
from.
time we're doing it. I mean, after you set everything up once, you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
really have to
yeah.
screw with it again.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, man, what a time that was. That election stream. What an absolute wild ride that night
It was
was.
it was some.
That was Yeah, that sure was something, man. That sure was something. Jesus fucking the red wave that washed over. I mean, let me pull up that photo. I have it on my Substack there. There's that famous photo of the fucking of all the counties just being marked red.
Oh yeah.
Where is it?
Except for whatever reason, mostly coastal areas.
Most likely because like those are urban centers. That's why. Like that. Like look at that, man. My God. Yeah, too big to fucking rig, man. Too big to rig.
There you go. There's a campaign slogan.
You know what? Here's what we're actually gonna do.
Missed opportunity.
Should we have a little music like this? What do you
Jesus,
think?
what even is this?
Just like some calm music in the background? No? A little
I
gay?
don't see
Too
why
gay?
not. A
Should
little gay, too
a little
gay.
gay? A little gay? Too gay?
Just a little gay?
Just
Like,
a little gay?
what? How are you just a little gay? I don't know.
Just a little teensy bit, you know.
Explain that to us.
Got a little
These are like
teensy
all the different, like, I want to say principalities.
municipalities, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot we're no longer in the 16th century.
What the fuck is a principality? I'm actually curious.
That's it. We're Googling it.
Oh.
Yeah, when it says prince is the root word.
Oh, true. Yeah, okay. Well, that dates it. That definitely
Mm,
dates it right then and there.
just a touch. Just a touch.
Just a skosh.
Listen, I'm not that old, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, man, what a fucking
Back in my day, we had principalities.
yeah, you're talking like 1800s type shit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, what an absolutely wild time that was. Um, it felt so. I mean, honestly, I didn't really have like any need to like. I didn't really feel anything that election. Like 2016 seemed so pivotal and all that. I think by now by like 2024, it's just so the whole process is so fucking exhausting, especially with how early the American election starts. Um, just all the
No.
campaigning. I was mostly just relieved that it was kind of like this is going to be over and we're not going to be talking about the election anymore. Every day is a news story about the
Oh.
candidate. Every day is a new scandal. Somebody did this, somebody said that. Tony Hinchcliffe made that joke and so on and so forth. Funny thing about Tony Hinchcliffe though, that the guy that made that Puerto Rican joke, apparently Joe Rogan, when he was talking about it on the podcast, he was apparently told by some insider sources that if Trump lost, the media was going to go after him big time. Like big time. They were going to start blaming like part of the reason why he lost on Tony Hinchcliffe. And like you're talking about somebody who's on par with Joe Rogan in terms of popularity with their comedy. Like he easily has the most popular uh comedy live stream called Kill Tony. For those that don't know, this is a great fucking live stream. You can find it on YouTube. I think it's every Monday. They invite anyone and everyone. Was that Russell Peters? Is that yeah, that is Russell Peters. Yeah, he's got a Jays hat on. Yeah. They invite comedians from everywhere. Jim Norton, fucking Ari Shafir with his half. What, bro? What is that? Oh yeah, and then they had the Trump Biden fucking cosplaying with Shane Gillis. Um, but yeah, apparently, according to Joe Rogan, anyways, that if Trump had lost, like there were like all these articles are gonna come out and start pushing it against him. So that night, Hinchcliffe was just going around all nervous and shit. And then whenever like there was like another state that turned red, he'd just go around and be like, "Oh, see, we're gonna win, we're gonna win."
Yeah, see, it's different when you actually have some stakes in the, in the race.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but no, I don't know. I'd have to disagree with you on the point of saying like, 2016 felt like such a pivotal moment, and it felt I don't want to say more exciting necessarily, but I don't even know. I don't even know what term I would put on that. those feelings at the time. But I feel like the 2024 election was less interesting or less I don't know, um
There's less mystery involved.
what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you didn't have any nerves about it, or it was because it was a done deal. Like, I'm sorry, it was a done deal.
Yeah, yeah. That yeah, no.
The Democratic Party not hosting a primary for Biden's replacement and just installing Kamala as the person. Like I said, it was you can't take it seriously, right? It just felt like a fucking scramble. It felt like they were panicking. And it's like, I don't like that. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, and the whole
Trump
story
said he's
around
gonna
that.
run since frickin' 2020. Like, we all knew he was gonna win.
Yeah, and
You
the
know, there
whole
was no suspense.
yeah, yeah. And the whole thing about the Kamala nomination that was really odd was that the day of, like, Biden staffers had no clue that it was happening. They had no idea that Biden was stepping down. It was done on a weekend too. Like, this was done on like a Sunday or something. No press
Mm,
conference, no formal announcement, like nothing. And then all of a sudden they get blindsided, which, I mean, it just makes you think that uh, they just had like a conversation in hushed tones with Biden, being like, "Look, this is the deal. This is what it's going to be like, and this is where we're going." Um, because how else can you explain a candidate that was so ready to keep fighting and keep going, only to be just shuffled off to the side? I mean, plus, like, look, the guy literally has like late stage Alzheimer's or whatever the fuck. Like, he clearly is mentally unwell.
mm.
Um,
Well, that's the point I was gonna get to, was that the whole hushed behind closed doors conversation feeling comes from the fact that they refused to acknowledge Biden's incompetence.
yeah.
And I mentioned to a coworker the other day, I said, "Man, you know, I was watching the election, you know, with my buddy, and we ended up playing this clip of Biden forming cohesive sentences." And my coworker goes, "Nah, it didn't happen. I don't believe it." Like,
Yeah.
it was the same feeling we had. We were watching, we were like, "Oh, this is weird. This is a completely different person.
Yeah, AI
Like, this
generated.
person doesn't exist anymore. They're just
Yeah.
not around." Because everything in recent history we've seen from Biden has given us this geriatric fuck who gets lost in a room. You know, it's like, stumbling up the stairs, blah 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 blah. What president hasn't stumbled up or down the stairs?
Well, Trump was, remember, like, they had that big thing where Trump, like, quote unquote, got help from some army general as he was walking past him. Like, here, we'll show the clip. From what he
Yeah,
said,
no,
like this.
they're really quick. They're really quick to jump on that because everybody's on the bandwagon that Biden isn't here with us anymore, and we've all kind of, come to that consensus as a collective.
Yeah. Like, I remember when this happened, there was like a big stink about it. But like, realistically, like, this doesn't compare to Biden. Like, literally, like, he would walk to a podium,
The guy gets lost in a room. How many
like,
times have you seen pictures of Biden gets lost at, what was it? Didn't he get lost
well, look at
at like
this.
an ice cream shop or something?
Like, look, like, he stands and
Look how lost he is, man. He doesn't know how to get off a stage. There's a railing right there to his left. Is there not?
to
Are
his
those not
right.
steps
Yeah,
leading
yeah.
down? Like,
That looks like a railing. Yeah. Yeah, it's
like
just I don't know how the Democrats were able to get away with such a psyop. I mean, no, like, we do know, like, he um what what I don't know, not in terms of like logistics, but how do you sleep with yourself at night? Like, how do you go to sleep soundly knowing that, like, you helped put an like essentially a senior citizen in power that, like, forgets his words? Like, I don't. I don't understand because like the thing with Biden stepping down, the main thing is like, okay, so at which point did you guys actually know that this was a problem? Because it's clearly not now. Like we're at the tail end of the election, so you knew before that, and you just didn't say anything because your
Well, because
candidate's in. That's all that matters. Like so, at what point
yeah.
did you guys actually have that conversation of like, hey, he's actually not all there, so we have to adjust. Like remember his
Mhm.
cue cards got leaked multiple times too, and it said like
Yep.
exit stage left or whatever. Or he would like read the teleprompter for longer than he should have.
Yep. Or he
You
would
know,
turn and give a handshake to somebody who didn't exist.
or remember that time he called out for like a dead senator or something. Like he mentioned her by name, and she
Oh,
had
yeah.
died. She died like a month ago or something.
Yeah.
Like, here, let me look that story up.
Well, that's the thing is before the stream, you asked me, like, "Send me all these memorable moments of Trump," and I'm like, now we're sitting here, and I'm like, I got more memories of Biden's shit than I do anything else.
Yeah, here's the one. Yeah, where's Jaggy? President Biden calls out a dead congresswoman during speech. Yeah,
Where's Jackie? She's
she
dead, dude.
yeah, she died in a car wreck in August, and this story was
Oh,
in
I thought maybe
September
she, like, died of
28th.
natural causes. I thought maybe she was, like, 98 or something, and
No, no, she's an Indiana GOP rep. How old is she? Does it say?
56. You just missed it.
Oh, I just missed it.
Right there. 56.
Oh, I
Oh,
see
no, the
it. Yeah,
driver of the other
the
vehicle. My
driver.
bad. That's not them.
Okay, so how old is she? Let's find out. Let me
Valorovsky.
give it a good goog. Uh,
Is a good Polish name right there.
60. Is that 69? If my
Hmm?
math is correct? Yeah, 69 years old.
63 to 22. Yeah.
69 years old. But yeah, so she died, and Biden just called her out in the middle of the press conference because whatever the fuck. But um, yeah, ultimately, what really captivated me about like just this whole time period overall is that at least in 2016, it felt like Trump was like an isolated incident, and that nobody else would really come around like him. But the resentment of the people had grown so far and was so deep, like deeply rooted in political sentiment, that
Hmm.
people were just so done with the status quo in a way that like really hasn't been seen for a very long time. Like I'm genuinely having a hard time picturing when the last time like this happened on North American soil, besides maybe something like I don't know, the 60s, but it's not even on that level. Like there's no civil rights movement, there's no like the LGBT freedom, like all these freedoms and everything, like they're all kind of already established, um for the
Hmm.
most part anyways. So there's not really like a cultural or like a victory for humanity that's at stake here. Um and
No, but I think what.
yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, and like I don't like to use the word like mass awakening because it's so like fucking Alex Jones coded. But that's what it feels like, that like people are just kind of they're
Mm.
stepping away from like the way that mainstream politics are presented by the political elite and the cultural elite, and the corporate journalist space, because now you have podcasts where two guys with a mic just like ourselves can get together and point out all the misgivings and all these issues, and like we're just one of like thousands of shows that are out there. I mean, like the most popular show right now on the planet is Joe Rogan, and that's for a reason. That's not just because like he's some fucking bro that appeals to the bottom denominator and like the simplest humor, and like it's all gags and
Yeah.
jokes. Like he has serious intelligent conversations on his podcast. Like that's not it's not
But then he
nearly the
also
same quality.
challenges, right? He's not afraid to actually, like, ask the real questions that any normal, everyday Joe would be thinking.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
he'll look somebody straight in the face and be like, "But wait, hold on a second. That doesn't make any sense given what just happened, down south or something. Like, JB, come play the clip, you know?" He's not afraid to expose you right there and be like, "So help me see where you're coming from." Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to compete with that when you're dealing with uh advertisers, when you're dealing with all these special interests or certain political allegiances that you may or may not have at your publication there. Um, like you can't compete. You can't compete with someone that can choose their sponsors. You can't compete with someone that is able to be flexible um, with when they premiere. Like it's up. Like Joe can make the decision. Like they did the Trump podcast at like 10 p.m. or something. Like they stayed up pretty late for that. Late
Mhm.
night TV. Like even then, it's like Trump's not gonna fucking come on at midnight to go on CNN or Fox or whatever the hell, and no one's gonna be watching it. Everyone that watches that passes out by 8 o'clock or 9 p.m.
Yeah. But just to kinda go back a bit to what, you were saying before, because you were saying, like, the 2016 election, we basically implemented a clown, right? And, give me one sec here. And, uh, and it's like, "Okay, well, you don't think we're gonna have anything like that again, right?" Well, the problem came with when the Democratic Party failed on every level afterwards, you know? They had Trump for 4 years, things were relatively stable. Yeah, COVID, flipped the world on its head. Um, but then ultimately the Democratic Party came around for the next 4 years. They're like, "Okay, well, we had the clown there, ha ha ha. We put Trump in. Oh, we've had our laughs and our kicks. Let's get back to reality." And then it was just an absolute shit show. And that's where everyone turns around and goes, "Okay, well, hold on a second. Why the fuck is life so difficult now? You know? Why is fucking rent 3 times what it used to be? Why does food cost 4 times what it used to be?"
Why are there
You know,
millions of immigrants streaming across the border and getting bused and flown
yes.
to to swing states? And why is it that when these people commit crimes, like everyone is so slow to act or call it out or any of that? I mean,
Mhm.
like there's a good clip of where is that?
Well, and
Kamala,
especially
we've been to
especially
the
after the
border.
2016 election when everybody was I feel like that got people more involved in politics.
2016, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the circus that was being presented got more people deeply involved in politics, and people started to pay more attention. And then you had the 4 years of the Biden administration, and everybody's now a little more hyper aware, and they're looking at this and they're being like, "What the fuck? We can't this isn't sustainable." And I think that's where we get Trump 2024. It's like, "Okay, well, if you guys are gonna be fucking clowns about this, and lie to us and say all these things and hide all these documents and bring up all these stupid allegations and whatnot and just berate people and attack people because they think differently and so on and so forth. It's like we're not gonna vote for you again." But the other point was, oh, damn it. I had it and then I lost it. I'll get it back. But yeah, what's this?
So this is this is the clip that perfectly encapsulates the moment of the time. Let me just play it through.
Oh,
Okay. Like come
I
on.
don't understand the point that you're making.
Like
But
you're
yeah,
literally just flat out like word salading your way. We've been to the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the okay. And who's we? Who's the we in this sense?
yeah. You can't sandbag a statement and expect it to be suddenly true. It's like that's not how it works. But going back to my other point there that I actually remembered, you were saying, how can you, sleep with yourself at night knowing that you've installed this man in power and he's unfit and so on and you know destroying the economy by sending away all this money and so on. It's because these people, I don't. if you want to put, maliciousness out of the equation, these people to a certain degree are just delusional
Do you have any
because they see
plans to
themselves
visit the
as
border?
At
they
some
have the
point,
hero complex, you know? They think, "Oh, well, even though Biden's not here mentally anymore, I
These
still have the
people, I don't.
power to
If you want to
save the
put
people in Ukraine,
maliciousness out of the equation,
or help the people in
these
Gaza,
people to a certain degree are just delusional.
or I
Do
still
you
have the
have any
power
Because they
to
see
plans to
themselves
assist
visit the border?
refugees across the border and so on. Like, we're still getting people in and fight racism, and we'll be able to help the LGBTQ community to, be better and, I don't know, have access to all their medical needs." It's like, I honestly think it's just a hero's complex. I mean, AOC is kind of like a perfect representation of that. She 100% believes in everything she did, and she looks at you with the crazy eyes when she says it. They
Yeah.
believe the bullshit that they feed. Like,
Well, you have to. Yeah, 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 yeah.
you have to. That's
You
the
have
only,
to.
like you said, like, how can you sleep with yourself? That's the only way. Only way you can live with yourself while pretty much destroying a nation. Like, I'm not saying the states are destroyed, but I mean,
Well, no, you're
fuck,
like
they had a rough time.
you're
Like,
you're going
hello,
against the will of
Hawaii?
you're going against the will of the people essentially. Like that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. And it's not even the will of the people, but it's just this like weird us versus them. But I that like that leads us to the topic at hand, which is that like the only way that any of this could have happened, both 2016, 2020, and 2024, like this moment that we're now like look through the looking glass, is only if all of these institutions completely cratered their credibility over several decades worth of time. Um, and like nobody, like the best part is like nobody asked them to do it. Like nobody nobody put a formal request. These people abdicated their responsibility to govern by and for the people. Uh, for I guess their own personal selfish gain, what have you. I mean, like Jesus Christ, like it doesn't matter how far you go back. Just about every era in political history has been like that for like the longest time, and it's only recently that we're getting politicians that aren't just coming out and saying, "Oh, that side, I don't like. I oppose their tax bill or I oppose their social policy or whatever." It's like, no, you have somebody that's able to come on the scene like Trump or Milei in Argentina that's able to look back on the failures of past administrations, and all he has to do is just point the finger at them. He just has to say, "Look, I all of that you see there, I'm not going to be doing that. That is absolutely wrong. They fucked you over. And not only did they fuck you over, they want to pretend like they didn't fuck you over and that it was also for your own good."
Yeah.
Like the fact that the 2008 financial crisis, the way that it ended with like no executives from any banks going to prison, going to jail for any of the damages that they accumulated for people. I mean, you had fucking millions. You had billions given in bailouts. Plus, on the top of that, these people were given bonuses for whatever fucking
Mhm.
reason. Like, so many people lost their homes. So many people lost their livelihoods. So many people became homeless and destitute as a result of all of that. And there's people to this day, like, so it's what, 14, no, sorry, 16 years after the fact. And there's still people reeling from that. Like, that's part of why GameStop, exploded onto the scene in the way that it did during the pandemic, is because a lot of the people that were affected during the 2008 crisis, they were like, "Oh, so it's our turn to rig the market now? Okay, we're gonna turn the thumb screws till you bleed." And it doesn't. We don't care how much it costs us. We don't care that if we hold on to the stock, it's gonna go down in value and we'll lose money. We want to make
Yeah.
you feel pain.
It's financial anarchy is what it is.
Yeah, it's retribution for the people. I mean, that's also like a lot of the reason why a lot of people voted like for Trump. As I was just saying earlier, is that people were like, okay, well, fine. You want to call me racist, sexist, homophobic. You want to like ostracize me from society and call me a basket of deplorables like Hillary Clinton did. Fine. I'm gonna vote in the guy that gives the middle finger to the entire system. And that's 100% on their part. Like, if these people did their fucking jobs, if they actually governed on behalf of the
Mm-hmm.
people in an effective way, none of this would have been necessary.
We wouldn't be here.
Absolutely none of this would be happening. And I don't know if I'm glad that it's happening or not, because ideally I really would much prefer it if politics wasn't as big of a fucking deal as it is now. But the fact that it's happening, it means that, yeah, like, people were so disgruntled and disappointed and disaffected and disenfranchised by all these various systems, whether it's the political sphere, the social sphere, the media sphere, that they were like, all right, fine, we're going to elect a guy that's going to give a big fuck you to everyone. And he did. He did exactly that. Like, say what you want about Trump's policies and how he followed up on them. He was a big fuck you to the establishment and to the status quo. And if you voted for him and that's all you wanted him to do, he fulfilled that mandate.
True. Very true.
Like,
That's all
why,
you needed. That is what was necessary. You know?
Yeah, and I just want to say, for anyone that's unaware, we're both Canadian, right? So we have no, like, actual dog in the fight. We're just kind of spectators from upon high, just watching what's happening down south. And it's quite a show you guys are putting on down there. So please keep it up. It's very entertaining. Our politics are very boring, so this is a nice break from all that.
It's kind of a nice break when you don't have any stakes in it. I
Yeah,
was reading some news articles in Canada today, and it made me super depressed.
yeah. We'll get to that in a sec, because the other thing that I wanted to mention was that, like, this discontent that people feel, and the reason why there's a good chunk of Canadians that actually like Trump and they support him and they want him to do well. Like, there's people that fly Trump flags here in Canada. They get weird looks and whatnot, and people are like, "Oh my god, like, why the fuck would you do that?" Because they're tired of it. And there's no symbol like that in Canada for people to latch onto themselves to. Trump is the symbol. I mean, look, Trump is such a universal symbol that there was a Trump protest in Japan, of all places.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
We will make America safe again. We will make America free again.
Is that fucking Thomas the Tank Engine?
America free.
Holy shit, that's Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, jeez.
That guy's got
This
a
is
shirt.
Protest?
That guy's got a shirt that says "You missed, bitch."
Oh,
look.
this is pro Trump. When you said Trump protest, I didn't realize they were pro Trump. Because I'm looking at this and I was thinking they were anti-Trump, and I was like, this looks like a fucking parade. What do you mean? If nothing else.
Now, I just want to say that it is entirely plausible that was a Russian plot and that this was due to foreign funding and all that. But this is not the first or last time that this has happened. Like, look at this parade, or this one, or this one, or this one, and, like, this is just Japan. Okay, like I said, this is just Japan. There are plenty of nations that have had protests or marches or rallies that are in support of Trump, because he's a conduit. He's a symbol for people to give the middle finger to the establishment and to tell them to kick rocks and eat shit, and to tell them that they can fuck off, which they absolutely can, because they've abdicated their job. And yeah, all Trump did was come along and say, like you pointed it out, sure, nations that have had, but at least he's doing that. At least there's somebody coming out and pointing out the fact that, like, we're just getting raked over the coals for no reason. Like, a lot of this stuff, like, doesn't need to happen. Like, at least here in Canada, like, we don't need to have a carbon tax. Like, we really don't. Like, there's a carbon tax here in Canada for people that don't know, and we are charged, everybody in the nation is charged a certain percentage, um, based on, like, what kind of goods you buy, your fuel, obviously, gas, anything that could potentially impact the environment, right? And this money, what happens is it's pooled together and then it's redistributed as a rebate, where, according to what the government says, which is actually inaccurate because the parliamentary budget officer had to issue a correction for them. But apparently, the government says that 8 out of 10 Canadians are they receive more money than they pay. So, like, even with that, it's like that's an income redistribution system. You're redistributing income.
Yeah.
On what basis? On what premises? And then what happens to the rest of the money that isn't redistributed and that you're using for all these money? What happens is it's pooled together, and then
Oh yeah, I remember that.
right, like there's a scandal with the Green Slush Fund right now, where roughly $400 million of which has been used in or invested into companies that have conflict of interests with sitting members of Canadian government. You know, like a lot of people are just fed up with the status quo. They don't enjoy being talked down to, being told that they're bigoted,
Being lied to.
being lied to, being told that they're wrong, that their worldviews are wrong, that they're on the wrong side of history. It's like, okay, fine. Like, keep pushing people like that. See what happens. You get Trump. And then not only do you get Trump, but you get more people emboldened by a Trump victory. And they start pushing policies and talking the same way that Trump does, because that actually gets them popular support.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can talk exactly like Trump does, but you know.
No. That guy's one of a kind. Being told that they're wrong. That guy's absolutely one of a kind.
But Trump is also a fucking mild reaction to being pushed that hard. I mean, we've talked about the issue with the Nazi situation around the world. Like,
yeah, I mean, there was that famous was it in Italy?
yeah, Italy.
Was it the where is that? They met in this like square. Is it this one? Oh, it is this
I
one.
think so.
Yeah, here it is. Okay.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you push people. This is what happens when you push people to the fucking limit. Trump is mild compared to what is going on in other parts of the world. Like, I'm not saying there aren't Nazis in America, because I'm sure there are.
No, of course there's Nazis in America.
But holy fuck, openly demonstrating that shit. And we saw that video about the what was that party in Germany that was that's been gaining ground. And
yeah, the ADF, that one in Germany, that one's a tough one, because apparently, and you know what, I want to make sure I got this right.
Well, I don't want to say they're Nazis, but
they're all right. They're right wing, at least. Well, you could say that.
They're up there. They're a little far. And then I keep going back to the Nazi situation during COVID in was it New Zealand or Australia? Like, Trump is mild, man. He's not a Nazi. And that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about with being lied to, or being at least them attempting to deceive you.
Well,
right?
gaslit.
Like, as soon as Trump got elected, everybody's coming out being like, "Oh, Trump's gonna take all your abortion rights away." And then Trump tweets out, "I have no plans to do that at all. I believe the states should have the authority to, you know, regulate this as they see fit." Like, he has no plans for that. But the news is all blasting him for it. And the first thing people did or raged about on social media after Trump's victory was, "Oh, my friends are gonna suffer now. All my female friends, I was here for you." And it's like, what the? He has nothing to do with abortion rights.
Well,
he's not a Nazi.
Or even the more blatant example of the fine people hoax. Like, this is we'll play a clip from an Obama rally here.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally? Who said that
which wasn't actually true. When he said fine people, what he was referring to was the people that were protesting the statue, not the actual white nationalists that were walking around. This is what Elon Musk said in response to that.
Like the fine people hoax.
Obama just said that on stage.
Obama just said that. I was like, what the flying fuck?
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. They're
That's
just
a flat
going
out
for
goddamn
it.
fucking lie.
Flat out lie.
Flat out fucking
How
lie.
about
Like the fine.
Yeah, it's a flat out fucking lie.
Yeah.
And here's a screen cap of Snopes or Politico or whatever the fuck. Like yeah, like you can't. This is the other point that I was going to get to, is that like in the digital age, you can't get away with that anymore, because there is an abundance of information that allows people to go back and see exactly what was said by who, what time, and what the context was. And there's so many layers to all of this like historical documenting that that you can just like there's it all it takes is just the will and the determination and the time, and you can find out exactly who said what on what date, especially if it's like a politician, because it's a matter of public record and you can have freedom of information requests. Like there is no hiding the ball like as well as they did anymore. Like yeah, there's still certain things that will like slip under the radar, or stories that will not get covered, like the all the flights that happened under the guise of night, with the migrants being flown from the border all the way up, like all these border towns to all these different states. It's like, huh, that's weird that you guys are flying them at night, and so there's no local news media coverage. They're all just, going in essentially covertly. Or like the Epstein scandal, that's the biggest one. It's like like nothing came of that whatsoever. Nobody mentions anything to do with that. Like just the media just like they play around with it and they talk about the trial, but then the moment that fades, like nobody's talking about it at all. Even though the anchor on ABC, I think it's Amy Robach or something, she got caught on a hot mic saying that they had all the evidence, they had everything, and they didn't do it. Like here, I have it here. I think I have the.
Well, and that's kind of where my mind went to earlier when you said that all these institutions have discredited themselves over the span of decades, and it's like, yes, to a degree, I agree with that, but I think it also increased exponentially over the past several years. One, because of ease of access and technology and all that, right? As you were mentioning, but I think also two, because
Had
of the
everything.
political awareness of the masses these days. Right? It's a little A, it's a little B. But I think over the last handful of years, yeah, we've been able to catch all these morons in the act.
Well, they caught themselves. Like we just pointed it out. It's like you guys said the lie. People just like scraped through the information themselves and found it. It's like
Yeah,
I'm not,
but do you necessarily? But that's where I'm going. Like, do you necessarily believe that this is all new behavior for like media outlets to run all these stories that blatantly have a political bias, or it just, like you said earlier, straight up just gaslighting, certain individuals in society, whether that's like Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy or Trump. Like, I don't think this is anything new. I think you're right. They've been discrediting themselves for decades because they've been playing the same game the same way, and they've been allowed to get away with it. Where now, because of the increases in technology, like you're using Perplexity as your base search engine, and it gives you how much information in, a span of half a second?
Well, not just
based on a simple
information,
search, like,
but it's also it's not affected like by some kind of like Google algorithm, and Google has been caught multiple times now
yes, yeah.
showing that like its algorithm is actually faulty. So its like search results are actually tainted by a political bias, which like that is like that also doesn't get talked about enough. Like the amount of fuckery that has gone on with just like even new media, and how like so much of the algos and like search results and all that just get fucked with naturally.
Well, do you remember seeing the Alexa video
Which one?
where it's like, Alexa, why should I vote for Trump? And Alexa responds and goes, I'm not allowed to give any information on political that will sway a political vote or something like that. and then it goes, "Hey Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala?"
Oh, here it is.
Here's a couple reasons.
Alexa,
Yeah.
why should I vote for Trump?
I cannot provide responses that endorse any political party or its leader.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the
Like
most
what?
significant may be that she is a female of color with a comprehensive plan to address racial injustice and inequality throughout the country.
Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot promote content that supports a certain political party or a specific politician. Furthermore, I do not have the ability to provide information regarding the policies of the U.S. government. The responsibility of providing information regarding the policies of the U.S. government lies with the government itself.
Alexa,
Yeah, totally
why
scripted.
should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Here you go.
Why vote for Kamala Harris? Harris, a former prosecutor and attorney general, emphasizes her
like-
law and order credentials and promises a tough-on-crime approach to battling the violent crime wave that has swept the nation in recent years.
Like, what even is that? Seriously?
Thanks, Alexa. Yeah, you know what that is? Chances are that's I don't think it's like Alexa's algorithm or anything, but it must use some kind of a excuse me, it must use some kind of a search engine
Kamala
that
Harris.
it's tied to. So whatever the search engine that it's using, it's just giving that result, and that could very well be Google. Like I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I mean, well, let's find out. What am I doing? What search engine does Alexa use? Bing. Uses Bing?
Uses Bing? Fuck uses Bing.
Interesting. So that's what's keeping Bing alive. All those fucking Alexa
I,
searches.
yeah, obviously. I didn't know how Bing was surviving all this long.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ. All right, interesting. Oh my god, have you used Bing search before?
Oh god. I mean, accidentally.
It is awful. It is actually
You know when you
awful.
like open Internet Explorer for the first time and you have like a brand new computer or something and it's like automatically on Bing?
Well, so like check this out, right? So like I type in like Trump Pepe, and you go down, and then there's like explore more searches. It's like, yeah, I'm scrolling, I'm exploring more searches. What the fuck do you mean? People interested in Pepe also search, like, just this weird like little fucking strip in the middle. It's just it's so bad. And I don't even think, are there filters? Yeah, I don't even think there's. Oh no, there's some filters. Yeah, you can pick through. Yeah, Bing is awful. Bing is straight up awful. But on the topic of burning credibility, I mean, this is by far like just about any interview released by Project Veritas will fucking nail another nail in the coffin for corporate media. But this one takes the cake. This is a legendary one right here.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
So that in and of itself is pretty stunning to see, but
Yep.
the fact that she treats it like a fucking game, like it's "Oh my god, I had that. I had it." Like
Yeah.
you just see her
Like I would
fucking
have been first.
salivating.
I would have run the
Oh,
race.
oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it's
We
all
would have
the
had it.
she would have made a name off that. Are
Oh
you
my
kidding
god.
me?
I would have been so famous.
Yep.
I would have been so good. I would have been number like bro.
Because you have to think that way though. Because if you don't believe in half the shit that you're reporting anyways, like you can't be taking any of this seriously and you got to play
So
it
the
like a game.
yeah, point is that like it's played like a pretty
sport.
stunning to see. Like it's a fucking it's a sport to these fucking people. And I mean, I'm sure they do realize it that like their coverage does actually affect the way that certain things happen, the way that political scandals take shape and all that.
Mm.
It's just it's stunning to hear all that because like look at the end of the day, you know, like we've been saying for a little while now, like none of this needed to happen. Trump didn't need to come along. Like we really could have just done without all of this, but you tank your credibility to the point where people can't trust the words coming out of your mouth, and all it takes is just someone to come along and say, "Hey, they're dismissing you and your views completely, and they are just straight up lying and covering shit up. So vote
Yeah.
for me, and I won't do that," which is actually a really easy thing to do.
Very easy. Was my thought exactly. But that's all it's so at the end of the day that's all people are looking for is just some small shred of honesty. Like
To just not be
again,
lied to. Like it's really easy
don't
not to
treat the
lie.
masses like children.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. How many clips have we seen of them basically let that fucking one about with Kamala Harris saying like, so basically there's a little country and there's a big country and the big country attacked the little country. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
We're
this is
we're,
the
we're people too, eh? Like
this is a great one.
Right. If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard. She's literally retarded. I mean,
I love that.
Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is another country and a powerful country, and Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's wrong.
What's really
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia
this
is
goes
a
on.
bigger
I
country.
don't think it's
Well, we watched that last stream too.
yeah,
Because it just goes to show like you can't treat the masses like this. We're not stupid lemmings. Okay, you can't be pulling the wool over our eyes anymore. We see everything. AI sees everything. And with the political awareness that's going on, people are getting involved. People are actually taking interest. You know, people have a say now. People have opinions. It's the most prolific topic in the world right now is fucking politics.
Yeah, and I don't think that whole like the way that Kamala was talking there, I don't think that's an example of why she's like trying to lie around it. That I think that's more so just because like she legitimately, I don't know if she just gets nervous or what, but like she just is not able to speak and just it ends up being word salad, or she keeps repeating the same word like Michael Mouse is going to say in the clip moving forward. That this person just like they just think they can't speak. Like the passage of time is significant because the passage of time, or what else was a really famous one? Oh, you didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. Like what the what are you talking about? What are you talking about falling out of a coconut tree? Or what can be unburdened by what has been. Like that was her like signature sign off for the longest time until people started clowning her for it because they realized, oh, she like says this every single time. Like this is her fucking catchphrase. It's like okay, like we get it, but like come on, like be a real person up here. Like stop reading off the teleprompter.
Seriously.
So yeah, it's
and that's the sentiment. Stop reading off the teleprompter. You know,
Yeah.
stop sugarcoating everything. Stop gaslighting everything. Tell it to us like it is.
Yeah.
We're not asking for much. If Biden's mentally gone, you guys need to be. We need to trust you guys enough to come out and say, "Hey, guys, we're kind of fucked right now. We need to do something." Like,
Well, no, I mean they can't do that because like the Dems they selected and they like behind the scenes worked to put him in power and all that. So like them coming out and saying it, I understand what you're getting at.
yeah,
Like
but
it
it
would be
still
good
has
if they,
zero integrity. I get the
yeah,
game. I get playing the game, but our lives are not a game.
they are to these people apparently.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Apparently, they are. I mean, like, look, one of the things that I had like difficulty with writing the articles because like as I was going further and further and further into each of these stories, I realized like that there were so many that I haven't even covered that were so significant. Like Russiagate is the one that I talked about like for the most part because that was the most blatant one. Because at the end of the day, like I forget any story that was for or against Trump or whatever the media tried to make him out to be. If you're making the claim that your current sitting president is under some kind of control by a foreign entity, and not just a foreign entity, like you're talking about somebody that's been an like a nuisance at best and a mortal enemy that almost destroyed the world at worst for the last like century essentially. um and you're saying that the person that's in the power position of your country, the number one position in your country, is somehow beholden to them because they have some sort of blackmail on him. Like that's not nothing. You don't just get to like say that and then move on to the next topic. Like you can't just make that assertion hoping that some new evidence comes to light, which is exactly what they did. Um like they were very careful to say like, oh, Trump, like we can't confirm that Trump is a Russian agent, but a lot of these facts look a little scandalous. They look like there was some potential collusion. Because at the end of the day, like what we used to do to people that did that kind of shit, people that were actually treasonous, we used to hang people for that. We used to kill them. Okay, like we used to kill them and we used to make it a public spectacle that this is what happens when you betray your nation. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what would have happened, but if you level those kind of accusations, like you can't have it both ways. You can't say that Trump is the end all be all. He's going to destroy the world. He's going to press the nuke button. He's going to like do all these things. And then when it doesn't happen, you don't have anything to fall back on. Like all the time that they spent talking about how Trump was a Hitler figure, Trump was this, Trump was that, this whole election. It's like we have 4 years to base what the next 4 are going to look like. He's already been in power. He's already had access to the nuclear launch codes. Like you can't really get away with that assertion anymore. But the fact that they just kept pushing it, it's like at what point are we going to step back and think that like maybe this isn't the winning strategy because this is how you got a Trump figure in the first place. Like were they just hoping that like they would keep like hyping up the rhetoric this time around that some kind of change would be elicited in the people, like that they would just like scare the people into submission? It's just it's very confusing. I don't understand that how they could run on the same platform.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. Is they didn't change anything. They just continued to be like, "Hey, please eat this bullshit I'm trying to feed you." Because it didn't seem like anything changed. They still went after Trump before 2016. Maybe not as hard, obviously, but because they believe nobody was taking him seriously, more than likely. But after that, come 2020, they were all over his ass, and it was the same thing here.
Yeah, I'm genuinely confused about it. I don't know. I don't understand how you can reject the reality on the ground on that level. I mean, I guess you know what it might be? It might be because like they went so hard against him that they were like, well, we can't back out now. We can't like let off the guns. We got to just kind of hope that this eventually works. I feel like that's what it kind of turned into, because like at the end of the article that I wrote, like I did a quick little summary, just in case you forgot. So first you had, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing some stories here, but like just throughout this election cycle, the FBI raid Mar-a-Lago, seized documents that Trump was accused of stealing, which ended up being a nothing burger. He didn't go to court for it. There were no charges that were laid, and from my understanding, even the documents he had in his possession, like it was fairly common for presidents to kind of behave in that way, even though it wasn't really allowed. But like presidents do that anyways. And the best counter argument is that Biden also had documents just laying around in his Corvette that were found as a result of an investigation. Except the difference is he didn't have fucking dozens of FBI agents and whoever else roll through Mar-a-Lago in these giant cars with the news cameras everywhere. Like they made it a spectacle. They made it a show. And then Biden's thing just gets dumped in the middle of the election cycle. Like, look at this. Like the article on Time magazine is like the first picture is Biden happy in his Corvette. It's like, but he's accused of doing the same thing that Trump did. Why are you putting him as this like smiling face? Like, do you really think this is gonna win over the people? Like, do you really think this is the right messaging to have? So that was one thing. And then multiple states tried to make it so that Trump was taken off the ballot for January 6th, which means that that means that you are actively trying to restrict the ability of the people to vote for a candidate that they want because you disagree or you think you know better for these people, which is so insane. Like, I understand not wanting people to vote a certain way, but like actively restricting their ability to vote for a certain candidate, that goes against all democratic principles. Like, then you don't live in a democracy. Then you're just at the whim of the legislators, which is insane. So they did that. And then Trump was indicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records related to the hush money payments he made for Stormy Daniels, even though the evidence that was presented in the trial was past the statute of limitations. But during COVID, they extended this rule so that because of the backlog, they extended the statute of limitations. So it's literally just because of COVID that they were able to try Trump on that. So this was like a loophole that they had to work through the legal system in order to make it happen. Right? And then Trump was found liable for sexual abuse against that woman, even though the jury did not find sufficient evidence to support the claim of rape that was all over the news. He was just held he was held liable for the charges. Which, like, what does that mean? Because she says that, like, it's a he said, she said thing that he groped her in, like, a change room or something. And it's like, who the fuck? First of all, who the fuck remembers that happened, like, so many years ago? And then two, why is it that you're only coming out about this now? Like, it's very, very interesting timing of this scandal. Like, if you really cared about, I don't know, getting your restitution as a victim, like, do you really think that you would wait? So, like, look at how giddy she is too, just walking out of the courthouse. I mean, like, I just the whole thing just like reeks of like, okay, well, this seems like a plant. Like, maybe she does have a genuine grievance. I don't know. I wasn't there in the change room. I can't say, right? I'm not even defending what Trump did. I don't know what he did. Nobody knows what he did because there's no actual evidence to back it up. Like, this was decades ago. He was just held liable for it. It's like, what does that even mean? Right? So once again, and then fucking Trump gets shot at, not once, but twice. And the first shooter was not only walking around with a rangefinder in the area before the actual shot, which how the fuck does that get past the Secret Service? A fucking rangefinder. But that his body was cremated before an official investigation could continue. Which is also kind of weird because, like, how does that happen? Why would you rush to cremate the body so quickly? You would think that they would try to use like the best cryotech that they have in America to preserve that thing and be like, okay, let's find out exactly what happened here. But no, this guy was cremated. Like, oh, what? Okay. And then when the second shooter happened, his son was charged with child pornography charges 9 days after the second shooting. Like, that is the quickest way to discredit someone, is to charge them with child pornography. Because then, like, nothing that they say, like, no one's gonna listen to you. No one's gonna ally themselves with you. You just turned radioactive, right? And so, I mean, it looks weird. Like, why would this come out like 9 days after? Like, what? Very strange. So all these things, all of that was just to say, like, all of these stopgap measures were put in place to slow down or impede Trump's progress, and he still made it on top. He still persevered and pushed through. Do you realize how much stress you would be going through with any one of those things?
I
Any
can't imagine.
one of those things. FBI raiding you, getting almost fucking killed, being found liable of sexual assault. Like, any one of those things would be enough for the average person to go, okay, I tap out, I'm done. I can't handle this amount of public scrutiny. But Trump just kept going. He just kept going. And he hasn't aged. Like, look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. Let me show you a comparison. Because Obama aged the worst. Trump 2016 president photo. So you got that. This is Trump in 2024. Bro, he's the same. He's the
Yeah,
fucking
because
same.
I don't think he takes himself seriously either.
I don't know what he does, man. I mean, he apparently hasn't drank or smoked in like since he was very, very young. His brother died of alcoholism, I'm pretty sure. So that certainly helps. But the guy eats McDonald's on the daily. Like, that's his actual diet. Somebody dropped that. Trump diet. There's a recent article. He skips breakfast, but he might have bacon and egg cereal or McDonald's egg McMuffin. Opting instead of coffee or tea, he opts for a Diet Coke. Up to 12 cans a day of Diet Coke. Meatloaf or well-done steak with ketchup. Favoring salty snacks like Doritos through the day. Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
His typical meal includes 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches with a small chocolate milkshake. Oh my god. This guy is a beast. He's actually just straight up eating McDonald's. Wow.
It reminds me of that lady that
That
was
drank
being
Dr.
interviewed, and
Pepper.
she goes, my doctor told me I shouldn't be drinking 2 Dr. Peppers a day, and I outlived him. I guess it's just like the right level of preservatives, and you become immortal. I don't know.
Dr. Pepper right now.
That's exactly right. That stuff is good. It's got sugar in it, and two doctors have told me that if I drink it, I will die, but they died first.
Okay, so that's proof that it's good for you.
Yeah.
So you think...
But they died first.
Leave the old lady and her Dr. Peppers alone, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah.
It's the same thing like with my own grandmother. It's like members of my family have been trying to get her to quit smoking. And she's like a 2-pack a day smoker. And for a couple months there, she didn't smoke, but she was not a happy woman. And then finally, my old man convinced her, he was like, if you want to smoke, Mom, you're in your 70s, you're, living here on your own. It's like, you're allowed to have a smoke. Like,
yeah, at this point in your life, yeah, like it's not really gonna do anything. But it's incredible that like the leader of the most powerful nation on earth eats McDonald's on a daily basis. Like, what a fucking legend. And he's able to be so resilient and handle all of these things, all of these scandals, and just keep trucking forward on nothing but fucking McDonald's, steak, and eggs. Like, that is the most, like, Trump is the most American president that we've had since I don't even, like, nobody else comes to mind. No, like, yeah, I can't really think of anyone that, like, embodies the stereotypes of America. The loud, boisterous, rich, well-off, powerful American. Like, I can't think of anyone else that could even fill that role as well as Trump does.
The fact that he didn't get sponsorship for his campaign from McDonald's is monstrous.
Well, that also, like, that shoot that he did, it was definitely staged. Like, he knew an owner of a franchise that helped
If it comes
set him up.
out that his typical dinner is literally from McDonald's, I'm sorry, what? Isn't his breakfast? Yeah, his breakfast is an egg McMuffin.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, he eats Big Macs and 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. Like,
Yeah.
that's real. That's like, that's his.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
his
you know what that
actual-
reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of the Bare Naked Ladies song, "If I Had $1 Million."
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
we wouldn't have to eat craft dinner, but we would eat craft dinner. Of course we would. We just eat more.
Yeah.
I feel like Donald Trump is like, I'm so well off, I can eat McDonald's every dinner. That's a childhood dream come true right there.
Yeah, the man's living the dream of every 12-year-old.
This man, all he wanted to do was be rich enough to eat McDonald's every dinner service, and there he is.
Yeah, so this, like, despite all of this, right? Like, despite his eating habits, despite all these various cases, despite the 2 assassination attempts, despite all of this, he still comes out on top and absolutely just fucking, I mean, once again, let me just put the map up. Like, my God, like, just absolutely wipes the floor with the nation. I mean, that is something to behold. Like, that is, it cannot be overstated how monumental of a shift that Donald Trump has had on not just public life, but the international zeitgeist for what is possible.
Yeah.
Like, just setting this standard.
I was going to say, it doesn't help that the Democratic Party continues to shoot themselves in the dick, but
yeah, I mean, they're doing it to themselves at this point.
no, I think you have it right too. You have to credit Trump for being the man to stand out and actually point at the circus and laugh, you know?
Yeah, and look, once again, like, I'm not arguing on the merit of what he's done or like his policies or anything. Like, if you're looking for that kind of analysis, there's excellent commentators like Dave Smith.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, like Ben Shapiro, Crystal Ball. There's a ton of Michael Malice. Like, there's a ton of people.
don't
that will
do that
actually,
here.
Yeah, we don't do that around here. We don't do that in these parts. If you wanted that analysis, you can go elsewhere, because like this is not the kind of conversation we want to have. But just the cultural moment of the time, the fact that not only did he win, but then he just continued to win and remain in a place where he could capture the minds and hearts of all these people. I mean, for fuck's sake, Joe Rogan came over to his side. Okay, like, Joe Rogan was like supporting, or at least gave an endorsement to, well, not an endorsement, but like a soft endorsement to Bernie Sanders in 2016. Like, he was thinking that his ideas were interesting, and he still does, from what he said in recent podcasts. But now he's like all the way on the side of Trump, and it's like, yeah, here you have someone that didn't really shift in their liberal views. They, like, it's just that the shift happened without their consent. That now they're placated as the alt-right. It's like, Joe Rogan is not the alt. The guy grew up with hippie parents. He's all for DMT and smoking weed and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and having fun and
Definitely a
accepting
Nazi.
people. Yeah, like accepting people for who they are and interviewing and talking to just about anyone and everyone. Like, yeah, just this outright I don't know, labeling, just dismissal of all these people. They did it at their own peril. And so now you have someone like Trump that comes along and says, hey, I hear you. I understand you. And I will fight for your values and fight for your right to be left the fuck alone. Because realistically, that's what most people want. We just want to be left the fuck alone. We don't want, like, government to have such, you know, like massive powers to reach into our lives and affect us like that. It's like, yeah, we'd much rather just stay to our own devices in our own communities. We don't need all this overreach. We don't need all these excessive programs. Like, what for?
No. And that's the other problem with the Democrats, was that their solution was always more government. Let me give you more because you stupid lemmings don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like what is it? Compassionate, what is it? There's a word for it.
The Democrats are that kid that grabs your fist and makes you hit your own face with it and says, "Stop hurting yourself. Stop hurting yourself."
No, they they grab your fist and hit you with it, and they tell you that it's good for you. It's actually good for you that you're getting hit.
No, they grab your wrist, they hit you with it, and then they grab your wrist again and go, "It's okay, I'll save you." Like,
yeah. It's, I don't know. It's just it's interesting to see all this play out from afar. Because a lot of this resentment, a lot of the sentiment that people have towards their politicians and whatnot, like a lot of it is happening here in Canada too. That's why we had the trucker convoy. Because in the height of COVID, the Canadian government was trying to push vaccine passports and mandatory vaccinations on the truckers, which, like, mind you, stay in their truck for the majority of the day, and the only time they interact with people is either at a truck stop or when they're loading or offloading. Like, besides that, like, who else are they, like, what, the guy they hand the manifest to? Like that? Like, what other interaction do they have? Like, this is as an isolated job as you can get. And they were trying to force these people to get vaccinated against their own will. And it's like, okay, that's very strange. Why would you do that? And then there was all these rules about them having the self-quarantine and whatnot, which would create lag times in between loads. It's like, okay, well, you're artificially weakening the economy for, like, what reason? I don't understand. Like, this is very strange. And the self-imposed, not self-imposed, but this forced quarantine. It's like, yeah, well, what about the people that, like, fly into the to the nation, and they'd fly into Canada? They would have to cover the cost of the hotel themselves, but the fee, if you got caught not self-isolating, was cheaper than having to stay in the hotel. So if you wanted to get out of that, you just paid the fine, and you're like, okay, well, this cost me less than the actual hotel stay, so I actually benefited from this. It's like, this doesn't make
but you
any
still
sense.
got robbed, like, you know?
Yeah, like, you still got robbed, but
It's
just
a
not as much.
bittersweet victory, that one.
Yeah, you just didn't get robbed as much.
Cool, cut my losses. Phew. The government only took so much of my money. What the fuck?
Yeah, so, like, all of that is to say that, like, these sentiments and feelings, they're not unique to the US. They're happening in Canada, they're happening in nations across the world. And here in Canada, when we had the trucker convoy, right? You had people, and, like, let me just remind people, for those that aren't actually aware. Let me see if I can find a walk around, because I don't want to find footage from a newscast. So this was, let's look, like, closer to downtown. See if we can get to a place where oh, there we go, with the trucks.
If you don't know what that sound is, I think it's our national anthem now. But I haven't heard official confirmation that we've changed it, but it sounds like it.
This is when the honking was still
a little loud.
Yeah. Holy shit, that's annoying.
Hey, yeah.
Let me see if I can
But
find.
it felt good. Fuck, I had ringing in my ears after the first day there.
Let's see if I can find another one because I want to see footage of like actual people walking around and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, this is just driving. Oh, he's like driving on the convoy. Really? Is there nothing? Canadian Freedom Convoy, yeah, over 20 minutes. There's got to be something. There were tons of live streams.
There were tons of live streams.
Is this it? Hoping I can find it.
And then spontaneously.
No, these are just truckers. Come on, there's got to be something.
I wish I could remember. Hold on, I may still be subscribed to him. There was one guy that I constantly watched when I couldn't make it down. Oh, and he was there, like, he would show up in the middle of the night and shit and see what was going on and meet up with just people wandering through or
Well, okay.
people hanging around the trucks.
Here's the perfect one. A prayer for unity.
One heart. And what does that mean? That means love, understanding, acceptance, tolerance. And when we have that, we accept and we respect and we will respect one another.
Okay, see, I could keep going, but I think that encapsulates the point perfectly right there. Okay, if the convoy was as hateful as they said it was, and was filled with Nazis and all the, why would they let what looks to be a native grandma up on stage to lead a prayer for unity and to talk about all these things? Like how do you square that circle? I don't like. How can you make that claim when there's clearly footage of these people acting peacefully and not protesting? And look, James, fine, fuck it, forget this video. Let's say this is a one-off shot. You were actually there on the ground. You were actually there on the ground for multiple days. What was it actually like?
It was surreal, honestly. After the amount of time we had all spent in isolation, you know, being completely devoid of any social life outside your own household, if you had any at the time. It was unreal because you walked through it understanding that there was at least some basic fundamental ideology you all shared that connected you. You know, you no longer walked around like you were a fucking outcast.
Shared
Because
values.
that was the thing. What's that?
Shared values.
Yes. And just being there represented that to us. We all understood that being there. And I mean, the first day was insane. There were so many people. You were shoulder to shoulder with everybody right in front of Parliament. And the trucks were going off and blaring and revving. And it was that energy. It was that feel, right? It was like, oh, this shit's alive here. You know? After spending so much time being dead inside, looking through the news and thinking you're insane, you know, which is how I spent most of my days at work at the time. But yeah, and just the openness, you know, there were people there from all different walks of life. So many people, all different races and nationalities and creeds and whatever. It didn't matter, you know, and you looked at everybody with a smile. Nobody had masks. Nobody bothered. We all knew what we were doing. And I remember the first day there's some people parked up right near Rito. And there was this big lady holding a sign that said free hugs. And everybody was just going over and giving her hugs. It didn't matter. You know. It was a great time. And I even got to, on another day there, I think I told you I was walking around, I got to connect with another lady that was there, and she told me a bit about her story, and you know, just kind of being able to vent. You know, I was a random person. I just happened to make some side comment about one of the trucks or something. We ended up walking together and talking and saying, like, you know, how we had been isolated and how we felt, and the issues surrounding, you know, her views and her family, and you know, to similar stories I've heard about family members not, you know, even seeming to be receptive of anything anymore. You know, and I was able to share some of my stories, you know, even though my family was more or less on the same page, and I realized, you know, how lucky I was to have that. But being there was, it was intense. I was standing on top of I don't even know what it is. I think it's like a part of a bank or something, and you can kind of get to it from ground level. And you look over the crowd, and it was just, there was no words. There was no words to be had. Like, I almost broke down in tears several times while being there. And people are having, they had these colored smoke grenades they were you know, throwing around, and there was music playing and people dancing in the middle of the street. It was fantastic. They had guys set up with food trucks. You could smell it, all the food being cooked out there. They had trash bins around. They had people with shovels, right? One of the days I was there, it was super gross. It was slushy, you know? And nobody wants to walk around when it's freezing cold outside and it's that dry, bitter cold. But for whatever reason, we had that gross slush. So everybody was shoveling. That's a thing that happened. You know, we kept it clean. They set up a whole friggin' camp over at Confederation Park. You know, until it got torn down. But in there was also the moments where you see where, you know, you're no longer crazy. The establishment has actually alienated you. Like when they came and they removed the camp from Confederate Park, those were like outhouses. Those were food stocks, you know? And it's like, I understand we can't be stockpiling whole things of fucking diesel just out in the middle of a public park. Like, okay, I get it, you know, public safety risks and whatnot, but then you ban fuel completely.
They didn't just ban it, they stole it. The cops
Oh yeah, no,
stole
they
fuel.
stole, yeah, straight up. Yeah, they stole it. But then you had the people come out and everybody was bringing jerry cans that were full of water. So now the cops couldn't tell who actually had fuel or not. What are you going to do? You gonna check them all?
Yep.
You don't have the manpower.
Yeah, this is
You
it.
don't have the authority to bring the manpower. Like,
This right here is footage. Yeah, I think that guy just drank from his.
yeah.
Oh no, he's just holding it. Yeah.
Oh no, I have seen a video of a guy drink from his because it was brand new and it was straight water. I guarantee you, all the Canadian Tires ran out of jerry cans.
Yeah. And here's footage of the cops stealing fuel from people. Mind you, okay, this is in the worst part of the winter in
This is
Canada.
February.
Okay, this is February. It's like -30 on the regular at least. Like
It was
if you
fucking cold
you
during
gotta
that
have
protest.
you gotta have 3 layers on to like just be at a neutral temperature. Okay, and
Well,
you
my
had
my
cops.
phone died just from the cold alone.
Yeah, and you had cops like literally like actively stealing cans of fuel, which like okay, fine, from a counter protest perspective, you want to like cut off the fuel source, but it's like okay, at one point are you gonna do that and actually cause damage to these people? At one point does somebody
right?
At what point does somebody like freeze? At one point does somebody die? And they just did that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's where you start to realize that they've actually alienated you. The next one I was going to mention was when they closed Rito Center. They closed them all. They closed down a bunch of businesses in Byward Market. For what? To accomplish what? Nobody was in danger. They would have made a lot of money. This is the Wellington Meat Market down in the Byward.
Mm-hmm.
How much money would they have made if they had stayed open?
Oh, tons.
Are you kidding? Would they had grills going all for weeks? a bunch of
People had to
businesses.
bring
in
in
my
food for
market
that because they were running out because they couldn't get anywhere else. Business could get them coffees, really?
And then Rito Center closes down. Why do you think the entire mall
Nobody was in
closes down?
danger.
They would have made a lot of
Oh,
money
'cause
because there's washroom facilities in there. Weird. Meat market? Weird.
Down
How you're trying
in,
to squeeze us out by denying us
How much money would
quote
they have
unquote
made
while denying
if they had
us
stayed open?
basic necessities. Like going into Rito Mall and being able to warm up just a touch to be able to get back out there.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar with Ottawa's geography, okay, the area of the city where the protest was held was on the street right in front of Parliament. So this is Parliament. This is like basically like our White House, essentially. And then right here is Rideau Center. Oh, no, sorry, it's a Senate, I think. Yeah, this is the Rideau Center, right? Yeah, this is it right here. It's a major mall, biggest one in the downtown core. I don't think there's anything that even rivals it that's close by, except maybe what is it, Bayshore?
No.
That's all the way out east there.
Yeah, but Bayshore is way out west.
Oh, west rather, yeah. So this mall right here, and this is where like the Freedom Convoy was, just this little section of downtown, and they shut it off. They didn't let the people use the bathrooms. They didn't let the people shop. They didn't let them do anything. Pretty much anything. Which, as you said, like what they're just gonna spend money into the economy. Like there's no need to shut these. There's no need to shut these stores down.
Would have been a huge economic boom for the city.
And here's yet another example of people protesting with the jerry cans. Peacefully, mind you, like peacefully. Like nobody's like throwing these through the window. This isn't like some fucking Black Lives Matter riot. This is just this is people just gathering together to voice their discontent for what the government is doing, and what the government did to them was such an overreaction. They used wartime powers. They used the Emergencies Act to squash these protests. Okay, they froze these people's bank accounts. Okay,
They ruined lives.
They and not only that. What is it, Michael Mouse? Yeah. Reminder that they cheered on the police, threatening to take the kids away from the Freedom Convoy truckers. The first protest that corporate journalists decreed that children shouldn't attend. Yeah, like children are fine to attend the Black Lives Matter or the fucking Pride Parade. Yeah, that's all fine. Nobody gives a shit. That's fine. Whatever. But the moment that like the Freedom Convoy comes along, everyone's like, "Oh, holy shit! Hold the horses. We gotta fucking shut this shit down immediately." And here's the other thing: like, why is it that so many media outlets in Canada followed suit? They all covered the stories in the same way.
Well,
Why
you
is
want
it
to know
that
why?
just about every outlet did that? Isn't that weird? Shouldn't we ask that question of ourselves too? Like, why is it all the media outlets just happen to share the same opinion? Like, are we just gonna pretend like that's organic? Like that's just normal? They all came to the same conclusion? These people are supposed to be the high educated class that all got their bachelor's and master's degrees and can think for themselves, and yet they all echo the same points? Huh. That's a weird coincidence.
This is a serious threat to our democracy.
Yeah, and the word freedom became like a dirty word. Like CBC was trying to label the word freedom.
How the alt-right is stealing the word freedom?
Yeah, and like this is an actual article. Okay, for someone that's not familiar. Like, look, modern ideas about freedom emerged from an anti-democratic backlash, says historian. Wow, a historian said it, huh?
Neat.
That means that he's right on the money there. Freedom's a bad word. Only the alt-right would use the word freedom like that. That's disgusting.
Never in history has the word freedom ever been used in the popular consensus. No, absolutely
Popular
not.
lexicon. Yeah, here's another one. Former CBC host Carol Off wants to take the word freedom back from the far right. Why does the far right have freedom?
That's weird, eh?
Why is there this label? That's very strange. Why do they associate that with the far right? Why do they make that pairing? So if you want freedom of association, if you want freedom of religion, if you want freedom of expression, that makes you far right? That makes you an enemy of the state? How do you square that circle? I don't understand. But
I think you. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think you nailed it on the head earlier when you said there's like a certain point where you can't backtrack now. And we know that CTV and CBC are friggin' state-run media. And it's like, okay, you're obviously going to go with the pro-Trudeau side of it, let's say. And Trudeau already labeled us as Nazis. So you can't now go back and say, no, this seems perfectly safe. You have to continue with, yeah, we should probably take children out of here because that's the next logical step if we're talking about Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to. It
Like I
has
feel
to
like
flow
I'm
with the
saying
line.
Nazi a lot in this podcast, but it like I just don't get it. Like that's how you alienate an entire people.
Well, it's not our fault they used the word. They used it. They're the one that
They
used it.
used it.
And look, for full disclosure, James and I, like, we're not retards. Okay, like we understand.
I'm also not a Nazi.
First of all, our ancestors would have quite a few words to say about Nazis. Okay, like I won't divulge too much info, but we're both of Eastern European descent, and the Nazis they were not known for their friendliness towards the Eastern Europeans. Okay, they really were not. But no, the reason that we're mentioning Nazis is because yes, there was an absolute incident where somebody who remains unnamed, nobody knows who this person is, nobody has any idea what happened or where they came from. But let me just
oh, you'll find this quickly.
Let me just pull up this photo.
There it is. There was one guy.
Well, okay, so there was apparently, so this might have been a separate incident. And notice that everyone in the photo is essentially telling him to fuck off, or her, or it, whatever the fuck that is. Number one.
Yeah,
Number two.
There's a photo of something similar with a guy holding a flag just like that. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So this is one. Okay, there was somebody that showed up to the protest with a Nazi flag. They were immediately asked and pressured to leave, which they did, and then they were never heard or seen from again. But that gave all the coverage to the press to be able to come out and say, oh my God, look at these racist, sexist, homophobes. Look at these Nazis. Look at these absolutely awful people. How dare they hold the Capitol hostage? How dare they come in and honk their trucks? How dare they do this? And anyways, how dare you? All that shit just came out in full force. They fucking Greta Thunberged it to shit. Okay. And here's the real story. Okay. Yeah, that did happen. We're not denying it. But the overwhelming consensus of the people that were on the ground and the people that were actually live streaming it was that this wasn't not friendly, but this wasn't a hostile environment. People were cleaning up after themselves. And the footage that you saw earlier with the kids playing, like, do you really think that if there was such a hateful protest that this would be possible? Like, why would they set this up if not for the kids? Like, what, they care so much about the adults they did it? Look, there's bouncy castles being inflated as we speak for the kids. Because many of these people brought their families there because they thought that what they were doing truly mattered. These are all families for the most part. Like, look at this. This looks like a hostile environment to kids to you? Like, really? Does it really look like that it's that hostile to people? And notice that there's people of all creeds here, not just white Canadians. There's plenty of immigrants, plenty of natives. You have the Quebecois flag, the Quebec flag. You had people from all across the nation congregate in the nation's capital in the coldest time of the year. These people, like, truckers are not overloaded with millions of dollars just lying around somewhere. They're not exactly living paycheck to paycheck either, but the point is, this is a working class of people. Okay, missing a week of work or two or just any extended period of time is going to hurt them like it would anyone else. But these people saw that it was so important that they had to do their patriotic duty to come down and do this. And the Canadian media gaslit the entire public, saying that these were hateful people, they used hateful symbols, that they wanted to take over the government. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, like, where does it end? Because yes, there was like I forget who it was, but they released like a statement saying that, oh, we need to We need to overthrow the government, and we need to like. What was the name? Do you remember what it was? They came out with this like letter.
Oh, oh my God, I can't remember what it was called.
Perplexity will find us. Also, I'm going to show Perplexity here for a second. Perplexity.ai is your one-stop shop for all your research needs. Perplexity.ai is a fantastic tool, and I highly recommend everyone use it. It's free, it's fast, it's effective. Please, Perplexity, sponsor the stream. I love you.
I was gonna say, did you get a sponsorship? Because that sounds scripted right there.
No, off the dome. I'm that good, Perplexity. I'm that good. Okay, I'm just saying. You can't hear it. I'm winking. You can't hear it, but please. No, so there was a memorandum of understanding that was published by the organizing group Canada Unity, which called for significant changes to government operations in response to COVID-19 mandates. This document urged the Governor General and the Senate to collaborate with the protesters to lift all COVID-19 restrictions, including vaccine mandates, and it was later withdrawn amid criticism that it could be interpreted as a call to overthrow the government. So, yet
Because
again,
they wanted to install basically like an ethics board.
yeah,
That was also a part of it that isn't mentioned there. That was the big part where everyone was like, "Oh, they want to install their own branch of government and so on and become their own." It's like, no, that's not what they wanted at all. They wanted some fucking government oversight, is what they were looking for.
Right, and here it says, following the backlash, James Bowder, one of the convoy's leaders, stated that their intentions had been misrepresented and reiterated their commitment to lawful processes and democratic values. Look, here's my point to all this, right? This is a bit of a caveat that, yes, there was like a decree from an organization saying that we need to change certain structures within the government because they are not working for the people. To what extent that could be tyrannical, that's a matter of debate. We can go back and forth all day. The point is, if the convoy was as violent as they said it was, why didn't we see violent clashes? Why didn't we see mobs roaming the streets actively attacking people that were wearing masks? Why didn't we see businesses getting burned down? Why didn't we see any of the things that we saw during the Black Lives Matter riots? Why didn't we see people actually taking up arms? Like, if this is as serious as people said it was, right, as the media sold it to us as, if this was really as bad of a moral crisis and a stain on the history of Canadian civil engagement, then why did it not get violent? Because the only time that it actually got violent is when the RCMP or whomever, the police forces, got pushed in to kick all the people out. That's the only time it got violent, and there were altercations. Besides that, like, where are these massive riots? Where are these extremists? I don't understand. Like, where were they? You know, like, I'm trying to find the smoking
They
gun
don't
here.
exist.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like that's so strange. How could you make so many claims and not have anything to back it up? And look, fine. Even if whoever the fuck is listening to this, even if you ignore all that, okay? Here's a story. CBC falsely claims that Freedom Convoy was funded or initiated by Russia. There was a segment on CBC, the national broadcaster of Canada, which is state-sponsored, where is it? I hope it's going to find the name. It was this lady. She was this anchor. She was asking questions. No, that's not it. Where is it? Come on. I remember the story for a fact. CBC anchor claimed Freedom Convoy could be funded by Russians. Yep, here it is. Here it is. Announcer Neil Coxall raised the claim that the Kremlin could be behind the trucker protest in a January 28th broadcast. This is by the Toronto Sun. Okay, here's the video. All right.
I do ask that because,
So
given
yes, this is it.
Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Well, again, I'm going to defer to our partners in the public safety, the trained officials and experts in that area.
Yeah, you're going to defer to that. So here's an actual CBC anchor putting the question out there. She's like, "Oh, maybe," because the word that she used was, maybe because of Canada's involvement with Ukraine, maybe there could be something there, and they had to issue a retraction because that question was not actually based on anything. That there was no proof that kept this claim valid. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing that was based in reality that could substantiate that claim. And yet the CBC, the national broadcaster of Canada that is supposed to be the voice for the people, that is supposed to hold the government accountable, came out and said that these people were potentially getting played by the Russians.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
What are you even supposed to do with that level of
gaslighting?
like stupidity? Like, where did you pull that out of your ass from? Like,
I don't know. Maybe somebody was just in her ear telling her, "Hey, maybe you should ask this. Maybe there's a possibility." I don't know. I don't know what would compel someone to do that. I genuinely don't understand. And yet they did it anyways. And they slandered these people that were, for the most part, peaceful. Almost all of it was peaceful, right up until the end. Like,
well, we had said this before. It's probably the most peaceful protest in human history. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm not familiar with all of protests in human history, so I can't make that claim. But I get the point that you're trying to make.
I'd say it's pretty damn as a movement goes.
Yeah.
The Freedom Convoy, I'd say as a whole. I know we were only there for a month, but god damn.
As bad as it could have gone, okay, with how pissed off people were for what their government was forcing them to do. Okay, like for those people that aren't aware, in Canada during COVID-19, if you were unvaccinated, you could not get on a plane or a train. All you were limited to was a bus for the longest time. So you could only bus out. And if you weren't vaccinated, you couldn't leave the country.
Yeah.
So you were effectively imprisoned within your own nation. You could move within the nation, sure, by bus or by your own car, but you couldn't get on a train, which I don't understand how COVID is, like, there's just like an aura, I guess, around the Via Rail train system that protects everyone from COVID, or how in Quebec they had lockdowns, like curfews at like 8 or 9 p.m. because COVID only attacks during the day. Or sorry, COVID only attacks during the night.
Yeah.
Like how that makes any sense. I mean, like, once again, just going back to our point, you keep fucking around with people, you keep shoving them into these categories, you keep labeling as them racist, sexist, hateful, homophobic, they are going to get fed up with it, and they're going to react. And the Freedom Convoy was as mild as it gets. It was mild, okay, compared to what people should actually be doing. And I'm not advocating for violence here, but what I'm saying is that...
No, but compared to the emotions that we were all feeling at the time, like the level, it's just...
I mean, you had our prime minister come out and say, what was it? Trudeau French interview. I think it's COVID. There was that famous clip of him. Nope. Of course, YouTube's not going to let me find it because YouTube...
That may have been it.
YouTube is... Which one?
Oh, no, never mind.
No. I know the one that you're talking about. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Oh, there's no captions. I gotta find one with captions.
There's no audio?
No, there's audio, but because it's in French, I'm not gonna understand it. Yeah, there's nothing. Where is... I'm gonna find it. because this is a legendary clip. Like, do we tolerate these people? Is what he said. Because most of these people are racist, sexist,
misogynists.
Come on. Oh, here we go. Here it is.
Oui, on va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, ben voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait faire, se sont fait vacciner, on veut revenir aux choses qu'on aime faire. C'est pas ces gens-là qui vont nous bloquer. Maintenant, on est dans une...
Yeah, do we tolerate these people? Do we tolerate a section of the population that disagrees with how we're going about the pandemic? Do we tolerate a section of the population that feels hesitant about getting an experimental quote-unquote vaccine, which actually isn't a vaccine? It's not. It got labeled as one, but it actually isn't. That was manufactured under false pretenses because they were told, all the politicians told us at the time, it will stop transmission. Wasn't even tested for it. And when the Pfizer executive that testified in front of the European court admit to it that they did not test for transmission, that fell upon deaf ears. Nobody gave a shit. All the contracts that are associated with the purchasing and the creation of these vaccines are sealed for like the next 1,000 years or some shit. Like nobody can see them. So we don't know what's in it. We don't have a clear understanding of what the trials looked like. We have a little bit here and there, like through the leaks. So
Little tidbits.
So all of that, right? All of that happens, and you're expecting people to take a leap of faith with this experimental drug that's made by the same companies that were also responsible for the opiate crisis, which we are all still currently experiencing? Like, you want me to openly trust that? You want me to openly just welcome these people with open arms as if, like, the last fucking several decades just didn't happen? I'm so confused. Like, how do you circle that square or square that circle or whatever the fuck the phrase is? Like, how do you make sense of that? And then the people that don't want to go along with that decision, you demonize them in the worst terms possible. And you say, do we tolerate them? As the leader of the nation, do we tolerate these people? Where the fuck do you get off?
That's dark phrasing, to be honest with you.
Where the fuck do you get off? Who the fuck are you to tell me if these people should be tolerated? Labeling me as a racist, sexist, fuck, you don't know shit about me. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the big sentiment that a lot of people had. But and there goes the thought again. Son of a bitch.
You had it. But I'll just keep rambling.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think it's as deep as that. It doesn't really matter whether or not you actually trusted the vaccine or what you think about the vaccine. The problem is that we have never mandated a vaccine. That's never been done. And that's what you're doing. You're just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and forcing people to get the vaccine. He says 80% of...
Not in the sense that you need to take it, because there are certain things like to be enrolled in school. Let's just make that clarification. You do need certain vaccines to be enrolled in public school.
Yes, okay, fair enough.
Mandated to work a position that doesn't involve you going overseas or something, like to fucking Africa or what have you. Like to work within the nation, or to go to a bar, or to go to a movie, or to go to a restaurant, or to just have a social life. We didn't have that before.
Yeah. That's the level I'm talking about, is like going to a bar, or going to the movies, you know? It's like that was one of the biggest reasons I heard for people in my, social circle for getting the vaccine was, because I wanted to go out. Because they said they were going to open the bars. And it's like, okay, well, in my mind, that's not a good enough reason to get a vaccine. And call me crazy, right? But that's just my opinion. And I should be allowed to have said opinion. Like, we had real anti-vaxxers in this country. We've had real anti-vaxxers. They've been your nurses. There are anti-vaxxer nurses. Do they have their vaccines? More than likely, I'm going to say. But their kids won't. They don't believe in them. These people have been around. And now all of a sudden, this one vaccine, and now you can't work here.
It's not a vaccine.
Well, yeah, the jab. Sorry.
The jab.
The fucking jab.
The experimental gene therapy that they also like. Look, we're
don't forget Robert Malone. You know his testimony.
We're not virologists. We're not biologists, and we're not pretending to be. But just looking like logically speaking, if you create a quote unquote vaccine in the middle of a pandemic, then you're essentially giving information to the virus like, hey, if you fit this, gene sequence or, whatever the right term is, if you fit into these parameters, you get to live. So it's gonna, as as Mother Nature intends, that virus is gonna fucking mutate to all hell so that it can survive and thrive. Which, what I'm saying is, by vaccinating throughout the pandemic, what happened was we, in fact, created these variants. Because the vaccine had no choice.
We created what COVID is now as a global superbug that will forever be with us till the end of time.
Yeah. Because what happened was the virus adapted to the vaccine because the vaccine was not 100%. I mean, Jesus Christ.
The vaccine protected against one genome, not genome. I wish I could remember the term. You know the picture of the virus, right? As they show it everywhere, it has those little fucking mandibles coming off it. Spike proteins, they're called. Boom, I got you. The vaccine only protects against, it basically takes your cell, all right? So gene cell there, okay? It takes the cell and it changes one spike protein. So all the COVID virus had to do was go, okay, so I'm just going to not go for that spike protein anymore.
Oh, I'm not going to find it on YouTube. There's that famous compilation of the percentage points changing of like how effective it was. It starts at 99% and then it just goes down and down and down and down and down. Let me see if I can find it.
It's funny. I was just looking through my phone and I found that I screen captioned that video.
Because that is a fantastic video. Where is it? Come on. Oh yeah, and also let's not forget this story. This was a story that many people don't know about, but here in Toronto, in a major hospital, we had an incident where a patient was refusing to mask up, and you see this lady yelling at her to put on her mask. Security comes along. There's 3 of them. This lady's in like a chair. She's feeble, and guess what happens? They push her up against a wall. The camera pans away conveniently, and guess what happens after? She gets wheeled out, and she looks like she's comatose. You know what happened to her?
When in fact she's... Yeah, go ahead.
She fucking died. She fucking died. They tried to put a mask on her so strongly that she fucking died, and the guards were cleared in her death. Guards cleared in hospital death of Stephanie Warner. Here's the footage no jury will ever see.
Yeah, it's infuriating that.
The security camera... If my family member was killed like that...
That's the thing. It's not even my family member, and I'm fucking livid.
Bro.
This is egregious.
The things I would do. The things I would do if anyone I cared about was affected like that. Jesus fucking Christ. Don't even get me started, man. I'm going to get a fucking visit from CSIS. The things I would do if somebody in my family was forced to put on a mask so hard that they fucking died and cussed. My God. Unbelievable.
Remember that
Unbelievable.
deranged video of that mother or that babysitter, like restraining that child and trying to put a mask on it? And
Yeah.
the kid is like squealing.
Yeah. No, but these people, these were the people
This
in the
was just
right.
deranged, man.
These were the people in the right. These were the people that
Yeah, these are the
really,
people on the right side of history for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I really want to find that video because that video is hilarious. Oh yeah, and I remember all the times they were trying to give out free burgers to people that were getting the vaccine, like
Oh yeah, they
just baiting
gave out
people,
cookies and
lotteries and all
Yep.
sorts. Yeah. Our mutual friend, won't say his name, but our mutual friend, when he went to get vaccinated, it was at a sports stadium, and they were announcing overhead, "Oh, we got another one vaccinated," as if it was like some kind of a sport.
Jesus, man.
Like, okay, so I realize we've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole here, but this is all to say, like, this is yet another example. Okay, this is yet another example on top of the dozens that we've given tonight where people were not only lied to, they were gaslit, they were led to believe things that were outright false and inflammatory for the sake of news coverage or for the sake of the bottom line or for the sake of whatever the fuck. That these people, not these people, were among these people, us, as the populace. we were fed bullshit.
We the people.
Yeah, we the people. We were fed bullshit over and over and over and over and over again. And there's only a certain amount of that people will take until something is done. And now we're seeing the tide turn in a major way. In a major way. Okay, like to the point where fucking Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are heading a department of government efficiency in America, which is a first. Like you have an entire department that's set up to root out inefficient aspects of the government, whether it's overbloated budgets, consulting fees, what have you. That's incredible. Every government needs that because clearly these people can't do it themselves. They don't keep themselves in check. They like their fat paychecks. They like their benefits. They enjoy them. Why would they give them up freely? Why would they do that? I mean, the most egregious example is CBC giving executives bonuses. Meanwhile, they cut jobs. So our national broadcasting service has like a billion-dollar budget or some shit like that. They had an $125 million budget shortfall for the fiscal year of 2024-2025. They plan to eliminate 600 jobs and not fill an additional 200 vacancies. Meanwhile, they gave their executives $18 million in bonuses. Now, I realize $18 million is not the same as 125, but I would imagine that as an organization, if you're having that kind of a shortfall, you would want to do everything in your power to limit that. Right? You would want to do everything in your power to make sure that you can at least stay afloat or neutral. And yet they paid $18 million in bonuses. Like, how do you justify that? How do you justify that when record amount of people are using food banks? How do you justify that when auto theft is up by like 300% all across Canada? You can't.
Okay.
Look, we've investigated ourselves.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I investigated myself and I found myself not guilty.
Yeah. Good for them.
How
At least
lucky I am that I was also the judge.
yeah, at least they had the balls to fucking write an article like this. But regardless, like how can you justify any of these things and think that people aren't gonna lash out? Like Canadians we're nice at our core, but even we have a limit.
You can't push people to this degree. When I said they ruined lives with what happened during the Emergencies Act, I wasn't kidding.
They held people for that trial, for the Freedom Convoy trial. They held them in holding for like months on end. And for what? Like these people aren't a threat. The second convoy is not materializing. Why are they in holding? I don't understand.
Tamara Lich was exiled.
Yeah, like some
from
of like
Ottawa.
these people were straight up not allowed to come to the city. They were not allowed to be on social media or interact with any of the people that helped set up the convoy. Like that is just so strange to me. I mean,
that's fucked.
You know what? Jordan Peterson, and I mentioned this to you before. Jordan Peterson said it best about the Freedom Convoy. He said that Canadians were faced with a choice in terms of what stories they believed during the convoy. So it was either A, that their government was actually acting in a tyrannical way, that their government was not fighting on behalf of the people, and that the government was actually actively working to diminish the rights and freedoms of Canadians nationwide, right? So it's either you accept that reality, as the Freedom Convoy truckers and protesters did, or you accept, in my opinion, the easier reality to swallow, that these people were sexist, racist, homophobes who were extremists and who hold unacceptable views, and they're all anti-vaxxers, and they're just awful people.
And they're not a threat because it's the fringe minority.
Yeah, and it's the fringe. It's like, okay, well, which one is easier to accept when you have the entirety of the establishment media behind your back, touting the same exact stories? I mean, for fuck's sake, the National Post is like one of the only publications in Canada that has a conservative voice in the mainstream sphere. Every other media outlet was just going along with it. CTV, CBC, Global News,
The Ottawa Sun.
Ottawa Sun. Right? Like, which one is an easier reality to accept? That your government is actually acting in a tyrannical way, which it is. Like, it absolutely is. If you freeze the bank accounts of the people that are protesting, like, how is that? I don't understand. How is that not tyrannical? You're taking away people's access to funds. Like, they have mortgages, they have bills to pay, they have apartments, they have rents, they have children. And the people that, like, you don't even have to be at the protest to have your funds seized. You just have to donate. Like, I was considering donating at the time, and I held off on it because I was like, well, shit, I can't afford to take a hit like that right now. I would be fucked. I would be destitute. I don't even have any cash on me. Everything is digital these days, so I just had cards on me. Like, nobody was accepting cash during COVID. So I like,
Yeah.
if I had donated $50, would I have been swept up in that? And it gave me pause, and I didn't donate as a result of it because I was like, well, this is gonna fuck me over, and for how long?
Yeah, but so you never considered the idea if I do this, will I be labeled as a criminal and my bank account's frozen? And that was never a thought in your mind.
No, it was. Like, no, like up until that point, when it comes to like donating to a protest, if that's the point that you're making, then yeah, that thought never crosses your mind. But then when they did it, it gave me pause. I was like, I don't have all that much money to begin with, and this would like ruin me if I did this. So I didn't donate.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a scary thought to have because now it will be something in the back of your mind, right? Now the next time there's a movement that you sympathize with, that you want to donate to, there's a little thought in the back of your mind going, if this gets big enough, am I going to be too deep?
Yeah, if this actually ends up going against the wishes of the political and cultural elite, if this goes against the status quo in a significant enough way, are they going to do this again? Because we have precedent. They set the precedent that, like, yeah, we will do this. We will actively do this to people, and we will seize their accounts, and we will seize their funds. Which, like, I don't know. I don't know how any of these people could justify it. I genuinely don't understand. And for another fucking rage boner, let's see that clip of Trudeau saying that I never said. What did he say? Is this it? Is this the clip?
Registering your guns is
No, not registering your guns. Where was it? He was testimony. He was testifying at the Freedom Convoy hearings. Oh, come on. There's gotta be. Okay. Twitter, help me out. Help our brother out. No. Here it is.
Would you agree with me that one of the most important roles of a prime minister is to unite Canadians and not divide them by engaging in name calling?
I did not call people who were unvaccinated names.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont
You heard an
farouchement
audible gasp. Like an audible gasp of people in the room. And then here's the following clip.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes.
Would you agree with me that one of the most important roles of a prime minister is to unite Canadians?
I did not call people who were unvaccinated names. Oh, like we have the tape, man. Like once again, going back to like what we said earlier, it's like there's too much data out there for them to make these claims. Like they're not sustainable claims. You can't make these claims anymore. You just straight up can't.
No,
it's not possible.
We have you on camera every time.
Like imagine having like the balls to just lie so brazenly about something like that, and to think that you're in the right. Like what kind of mental gymnastics does it take to be that kind of a person? I genuinely don't understand. I genuinely don't understand it.
And that's the thing. That's maddening to watch.
It's infuriating. I was livid I was so angry. I was so angry during that time. Just seeing all of it unfold and feeling like just helpless. Because it seemed like the whole world was against you.
Yeah. That's a dark place.
Yeah, and so out of that, we come out. Life has resumed back to normal for the most part, and Trump is elected again, and rightfully so. Because you fucked with the people. And look, like Trump's stance on like COVID and everything that he did wasn't exactly 100% perfect either. But like I said, he's a conduit. His policies don't matter. Like they really don't. Just the fact that he's there to give a big fuck you to the establishment, like that's his most important selling point. That's what he's known for. And that's why people vote for him, and that's why people are starting to hold these same views. That's why more and more of these people are coming out, because they're sick and tired of being told what to fucking do and what to believe. But they're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about that political awareness. Realizing what's going on and being able to be like, hold on a fucking minute. Does this make any sense? Should I be questioning this?
Yeah, and there's, I mean, God, there's so many examples to root through. We only touched on like three major ones: Russiagate, Trudeau with the Freedom Convoy, and what else? Some scandals here and there. But like it's if you just spend enough time, like as I was writing that piece, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't recall like most of these stories. I can't, because there's too many of them. There's way too many of them. They just keep popping up.
Yeah.
Like at least
Well,
here.
and
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say, like, it's not like, we didn't try to give the other side the time of day. Like me personally, I got a lot of my information from listening to podcasts on the subject involving COVID and the spread and the medium and so on and so forth, the vaccine and the policies. And yeah, I believe a lot of what I was listening to was more conservative, let's say, more right leaning. But I gave CBC, CTV, all these other, more mainstream mediums for the opportunity to convince me. Please help me understand. And every time I felt it was more of, oh, trust us. Trust the scientist. I have a scientist standing here beside me. Trust him.
We know what's good for you. We know better.
Yeah. It's like, but you haven't given me any information. Again, all you're trying to do is coddle me and say, this is what's best for you. 80% of people in Quebec have already done the right thing. The right thing? Who the fuck are you to decide what's right or not? You're a person, dude. And this is why kind of where I keep going back to this whole like God complex or the hero complex of like, I'm the savior. You're trying to save us from ourselves like we're animals that continue to bite at our own paws. Like, what do you mean? We're not a demented puppy. Okay? I know how wars work, Kamala. But every time it was like, oh, trust me. Trust me. I'm the government. Trust me. I'm on the health board. Trust like it's not enough.
That trust isn't infinite. It's not just a resource that you can keep tapping and hope that everything holds. It's like the more of these lies you're caught in, the more that your story just falls apart. I mean, the biggest thing for me, and we talked about this extensively, when we'd call during the pandemic, was that like, why isn't anyone talking about the benefits of exercise? Why isn't there like a national program to lead investments into public schools at the least? Because that's at least like that's where you'd want to target it. Is like, okay, why don't we do 30 minutes of exercise every single day at the beginning of the school day? Have all the kids out, put on some music, do some fucking jumping jacks, just be out in the fresh air. Like I remember we had to do that in public school growing up, like from between grades 2 to 5. I vividly remember we would go out on the field. They would play music. It's just this mix of like 80s old rock, like very like PG kind of stuff you'd hear in like a baseball stadium, and there would be teachers at the front standing on these giant like stands, and they'd be doing all these moves, and we had to copy them. And kids like music, and they're screwing around with their friends, but as long as they're outside and they're exercising, it's like, you're telling me that we couldn't have done something like that even with your rules of social distancing? You're telling me that like we couldn't have emphasized the importance of physical health in some way, shape, or form? I mean, come on. Like, you're telling me that the only cure to this novel virus is an even more novel vaccine for which we don't know what the ingredients are. We don't exactly have an idea how the testing was conducted. We don't know what the contract was like between the government and the company. And they also have immunity from any damages whatsoever. So you're literally taking this all on your own risk just because somebody on TV says that you're not going to be able to go to a bar otherwise. Like,
yeah.
Fuck right off. I have a lot of questions here. Why aren't we talking about supplementing vitamin D? Which, mind you, okay, like this isn't. I get it. I'm not a fucking expert or anything, but let me just look at this. What percentage of adults in North America are vitamin D deficient?
Well, we also live in Canada where we have like winter and shit.
I was literally just gonna say overall prevalence approximately. Okay, according to, first of all, let me fucking.
Well, there's one for Canada too.
This is prevalence of and correlates of vitamin D deficiency in U.S. adults. This is a study. It's on PubMed. Okay, point is 40%. Apparently, African Americans are 80% deficient. Hispanic Americans are 69% deficient. And Canada has its own 32%. Right? Because we have the winters that block out the sun. We work
there
indoors.
Underneath seasonal variations.
Yep.
Significantly impact these numbers.
Right. Okay. And if you don't believe me, fine. Go do your own research, or as I like to call it, reading. Okay. As it was once
Read a
known
book.
as. Yeah, as Jimmy Dore, he was famous for pointing that out. He's like, "Oh, doing your own research? You mean reading?" Like, let me actually play that. That's a great clip.
That's a great clip.
People tried to get informed about that. Other people shame them. They would say, "Please tell me you're not going to do your own research." You've heard people say that. Please don't do your own research. You know, before COVID, doing your own research used to be called reading. Now you're shaming me for reading? At the behest of Big Pharma? It's like I woke up in the middle of a Bill Hicks bit. Well, looks like we got ourselves a reader. Tell me, boy, what you reading for?
Oh, Jesus.
That's so bad.
What you reading for?
Don't you know everything that needs to be readed's already been readed by a smart person?
Oh, damn!
That's how much people internalize the propaganda from Big Pharma, was that they would be anti-intellectual enough to shame people for reading while they're wagging their finger at them for doing it. You would never shame people for trying to get informed, no matter what other subject it was, no matter how unimportant. Like if I say, hey, I'm gonna go buy a car. Don't look into it. Well, how will I know which car to get? Ask the salesman. He's the expert.
Jesus Christ.
What are you, Henry Ford?
I've never thought of this. That's amazing.
Yeah, like
That's an amazing take.
Apply that logic to literally anything else, and it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Dude, before I fucking buy anything that I'm planning to use for a very long time, I do research. When I bought my podcast mic, I did research. When I bought my computer, I did research.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought my fucking couch, okay, I did research for a fucking couch. All right. So to make this claim was just absolutely.
If you read the flyer before you go to the grocery store, is that research?
I mean, by their definition, I guess. Yeah. And yeah,
Yo,
just,
couponing people are Nazis, bro.
Apparently. Apparently. You just got to go around, slap the fucking books out of kids' hands as you're walking through Indigo. Fucking burn that place down.
Torch the kids section.
Dude, burn that place down. That's a fucking dude. That's a hate crime waiting to happen. Are you serious, dude? Bookstores?
Oh, most definitely.
Holy shit, those are like the churches of Satan, dude. We got to get rid of those.
What you reading for?
Don't you know everything that's needed to be read has already been read by smart folk? Or whatever he said.
Jesus. Yeah, no, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Trust us.
Yeah.
Trust us. Even though
Trust
we
me,
fucked
I'm
you
on
over.
television.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is how well we need to trust them. Okay, this is also like another, pun intended, mask off moment.
Oh, God.
Ontario COVID update. Oh, these were so good.
You're gonna get a lot of them.
Where is this? I think, is this the one? Is this the?
That one's 47 minutes long.
No. I'm not gonna watch the whole of it. There's these health hearings that would happen on the daily, where doctors would come out and they would announce the case numbers and they announce the trends.
See if you can find one of Doug Ford stepping up to the podium or something.
No, I know the one that I'm looking for. There's a couple of these that they did. Ontario COVID health. I think this is gonna be it. There was a couple of these where every time they answered the question, they took. Here it is.
Oh God.
This is so good. Okay, I'm not even gonna play the audio because it doesn't matter what they say. Okay, look. So they're both sitting, masked up. The journalists are far away. Social distancing is at play. She takes off her mask to begin talking.
Hold on? Did you see that lady on the right? You can just see her split on the right. She doesn't have a mask on.
Wait, the one in the white?
Yeah, she doesn't have a mask on. Oh, maybe she's drinking. My bad.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I forgot COVID
yeah.
doesn't get you while you drink.
That's true, yeah. So if we fast forward.
Holy fuck, this bitch talks for a long time.
So if we fast, so she doesn't have her mask off and she's talking, and then as soon as she is done talking, come on, here we go.
There it is.
Like, what is this?
COVID can't get me while I'm
What
while
the
I'm
fuck?
talking.
What the fuck is this? This is just performative theater. As they're asking and answering the questions, they're putting on the mask and they're taking it off. What circus is this? I don't understand. The fucking sign language interpreter might as well have a mask on. She might as well have a face shield on.
And one of them
She
has
might
a
as well have
cloth
gloves
mask.
on. You know what? Give her some fucking gloves.
Put her in a hazmat suit. Fuck it.
Yeah, one of them has the cloth mask and the other has the fucking the actual diaper mask.
Yeah, and that mask isn't even properly fitted to his face. Like, what are we doing?
No, this was. Oh my god! Just
And these
thinking
are our
back.
these are people representing the fucking health board. Who are these people? What are they doing here?
Well, they're announcing like the numbers and they're giving like an update.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're doing the update, right? Yeah, you were
Yeah,
saying.
the doctors. Yeah, they're talking about the associate chief medical officer of health. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
like the board of people that were like responsible for making all these decisions. And here's yet another moment. So okay, he is clearly talking here, right? Like, okay, fine. Like, let's unmute it.
Made it have overwhelmed the system so that there's no shots available for anyone else. Is that
No, he
meant
takes
to
it
get
off the top.
a vaccine shot?
Or comments before we move on?
No, I think we can turn to.
Okay.
Thank you. So we'll turn over to the media for questions.
Just talking, and then turn over to media
Does
for
that
questions.
consider
Fast
where
forward a little
people
bit,
live?
then he takes it off. I like
Do you know what that may be for?
because of the phone calls.
No. They may do that so that deaf people can read their lips if they choose to. They may have
but they
tripped
have-
over themselves for an inclusivity thing. I know they have the interpreter in the top right-hand side. But I mean,
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
I could see it the other way around too,
I
as
could.
being like,
Yeah. Especially in Canada.
it's just a thought that came to my mind. It's like, so you shot yourself in the foot in spite of the other foot. Like,
And like
to trip over yourself and fall flat on your face.
You know what? Fuck it. We're going balls deep into this shit. It's 10 o'clock right now. Are you good till like 10:45 or something?
Yeah, I can push it for a bit.
Okay. Because we're on a roll here. And the the topic that we're on, okay, is just the amount of trust that was deteriorated by the public forces or public organizations, whether government or corporate or whom fucking ever, right? They completely just shredded their credibility. And COVID was one of the biggest examples for this. Okay, for those that have forgotten. So in Ontario, for those who don't know, Canada has provinces, not states. And Ontario is one of the biggest
We have
provinces.
principalities.
We have principalities. That's right. That's a callback to the beginning of the podcast. All right. That's a callback right there. Solid. I like that. We have provinces, and Ontario is famously known for not only having the capital, Ottawa, but also having one of the, if not the richest city in the entirety of Canada, which is Toronto. So in this province that is an economic powerhouse, the premier, Doug Ford, whose brother, Rob Ford, was famous for getting caught smoking crack while being the mayor of Toronto, which was a real thing that made international news. So his brother, who won the premiership, made it so that certain aisles in stores were closed because I guess their idea was that they wanted to close down the areas where masses of people congregated and instead not have those objects available for sale. So they literally, like, they actively barred people from buying certain things that they deemed inessential. Like, there was essential businesses and inessential businesses, and then there was essential goods and inessential goods for a hot minute. They removed it shortly, but this was like an actual thing. So how does that make any sense when you just think about it for 5 seconds? So you're saying that blocking an aisle in a grocery store and stopping people from purchasing this product by putting a little yellow tape around it, which is effectively what they did. Like, I don't think that they would have stopped you with a fucking gun to your head if you went to buy the can of soup that the government deemed, you know, unimportant. You probably would have been able to get away with it if you just go to self-checkout or something. But because Canadians are so nice and we obey the rules, I would assume that most people didn't. But they closed off entire aisles thinking that that was actually going to reduce COVID transmission in some way, shape, or form. Because all you're doing is you're corralling people in specific areas. You're just forcing them to go elsewhere. That doesn't mean that there's less people. That doesn't mean that people aren't still going to go out and buy stuff. So, like, how do you come up with that policy?
I honestly don't know. I can't.
Here it is.
That's one of those things I actually can't fathom.
I just know, but like, if we just think about it for half a second, like, how does this make any sense whatsoever? Like, let's just play this clip here.
Across Ontario are being restricted to selling essential goods only. Workers at these big retailers spent the night reconfiguring their stores, roping off tons of merchandise you can see, but you can't buy. This comes as the province plans another workplace safety inspection that the Labour Minister says will be zero tolerance.
We were really pleased with the store today. Like, I have never seen such less people in a store.
It was a quick pivot for retail giants like Costco and Walmart. Big skids loaded with food blocked off aisles full of merchandise that is now deemed non-essential. Ropes, tape, and signage are also being used to separate items.
We didn't line up at all. We spent $600.
Ooh.
Yeah, in food.
Is there anything you really wanted that you couldn't get?
You know, the woman needs something all the time.
At Walmart, things like kitchenware, pillows.
She should be arrested for making that sexist comment. She's implying that women only want to shop. That's sexist. She should be hunted down.
No, but it's not even just that. It brings me back to they're roping off all these appliances and stuff, right? We're in COVID. We're isolated. People are fucking bored. People are trying to pick up hobbies. You stopped people from gardening by shutting down all the gardening centers for whatever reason. And now you're taking away the ability to, let's say, get into cooking. Oh, I want to start baking. Oh, I want to try this new appliance. I want to sous vide something. I don't know.
I mean, okay, even I get your argument and I agree with it, obviously, because it's fucking logic. It makes sense. But the biggest thing is, like, where do you get off telling me what I can and can't buy in a store with my own money? Who the fuck are you to sit there and tell me that you know better? Who the fuck are you there to just the absolute audacity that you would have to even push for such a policy? You're telling me I can't buy this thing because you said so? Fuck you. I'm not talking about buying heroin here. There was fucking, dude, that's a fucking kettle.
Yeah.
That's a kettle. That's a blender.
There's a soda stream over there. Like,
there's a soda stream. Like, let's let this play. Fucking
blenders.
Car wash.
Oh, you want shit for your car? Nope.
Camping gear.
You thought you were going to go camping.
Bikes. Children's bikes.
Toys and
children's clothing.
What the fuck?
What the actual fuck is this shit?
How am I still learning about the atrocities they committed during COVID? Because I didn't see this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
They blocked off the card aisles here.
Same
like
here.
the greeting cards and Mother's Day cards and shit like that. And it's like, okay, whatever. But they didn't block off entire fucking sections.
I never shopped at a Costco during the pandemic, so I never saw it, but I knew it was happening. Like, where the fuck do you get off as a grown adult telling me what I can and can't do with my money, even though it's totally legal to purchase this thing? Fuck you. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I can't buy a kettle.
Fuck right off.
When have you ever gone anywhere and they're like, you can't buy this kettle? Why? What, like?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And like I have no sympathy for these people. I have no sympathy for what happens when they get what's coming to them. And this isn't like a thinly veiled threat. Like, I'm not trying to be a fucking Joaquin Phoenix from Joker. My point is, look, they elected Trump for a reason, okay? Essentially 3 times in a row with how the 2020 election went. I'm not making the claim that he 100% would have won it, but when you have a laptop that is owned by the son of the potential presidential candidate, that story is not only suppressed, but the account of the newspaper, which is the oldest newspaper in American history, that is banned off Twitter, and you can't share the story. And 51 ex-intelligence officials come out saying that the laptop story is Russian misinformation, only for, in that same summer of that same year, information to come out to say that, yeah, that laptop was not only legitimate, but that there are potentially as high as 459 crimes that are committed by the Biden family. Okay, when you have something like that happen, it's like, well, that kind of makes me think twice about who might have won the 2020 election had that not happened. It doesn't say guaranteed, but it makes me think twice. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, if the people chose Trump 3 times already, like, what does that tell you? People are they're fed up with this shit. They're done. And Canada is gonna have its moment. The Freedom Convoy was just a light taste of what's gonna happen, because like the
We're
shit
gonna
that
come
we're
back
seeing,
and we're gonna honk our horns even louder next time.
bro, everyone's gonna bring 2 horns instead of 1. Everyone that was the problem last time. Everybody brought a single horn.
Double fisting.
This time we're gonna bring 2.
I'm bringing
So
2
it's
trucks by myself.
yes, so it's twice as loud. Yeah. I mean, man, even like the stuff that's happening today. Oh, you probably don't even know about this, because this isn't even mentioned on actual on media. I posted this on my X account the other day. So a year ago, the RCMP, for those that don't know, this is the Canadian FBI. They
The
foiled,
Canadian FBI.
well, basically, they foiled a terrorist plot that was potentially going to be committed by a teenager. This was a year ago, and we just found out about it now. No mention of it on the news. This is the only article that I've seen in regards to this. Teens accused of plotting to bomb pro-Israel rally on Parliament Hill. Parliament Hill, mind you, is our White House. So if the White House ever got this kind of threat, do you think that this would stay buried for a year?
Absolutely fucking not.
This is global news, right? You would think that this would be the first story on CBC. No mention of it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Dead air.
Nothing. No
CTV. CTV actually just released an article while we were doing the podcast that talks about the science of walking and if we actually need 10,000 steps. Oh yes, that's important. But you know, terrorist bombings, whatever.
Look, none of this. Nothing. The only story that has bomb in it is about Russia. Global News is the only one that I know of where this
Somebody
happened.
at Global's getting fired for releasing that.
Yeah, someone's going on the chopping block for that. Global News, True North. That's it. Those are the only Okay, these are the only sources that Perplexity could link. Okay, fine. Let's be charitable. Okay, let's be charitable and let's actually do the right thing. National Post, and that may or may not be the same story. I would assume it is, because it certainly sounds like it.
6 hours ago.
6 hours ago. Global News had it yesterday. Yeah, here it is. 2 Ottawa teens were charged with plotting a deadly attack against pro-Israel demonstrators on Parliament Hill, according to a report. I'm not even saying that I'm defending Israel or agreeing or disagreeing with the protesters.
You can't bomb our fucking White House, dude.
Yeah, you don't get to just fucking do that.
Is that too much to ask? You can't bomb anything. That's all. I think that's a bare minimum. Yeah,
And, like,
something we can all agree on.
The national news organization that is like these fuckers, okay? They live off our taxes. Okay? The hours that I spend working my fucking wage cage of a job, part of that goes to these fucks. And this is what they're doing. This is how they're covering. No, these people, quite literally, the corporate press and even national press, in some instances, in a lot of instances as of late, is the enemy of the people. These are just flat out enemy of the people. They do not have our interests in mind. They actively undermine the public interest. They actively suppress stories for the sake of financial gain, as we saw earlier with the ABC clip and the Jeffrey Epstein story. These people, and I want to make this unequivocal point, these people are not in the business of telling the truth. They are not. They really are not. And that is absolutely abhorrent. The fact that nobody is talking about this. This happened a year ago. Why are we finding out about this now? This is the third fucking terrorist attack that we found out about in the last 3 months. The third one that was foiled. How long is it before something actually doesn't get caught? How long is it before somebody, I don't know, makes the wrong arrest or doesn't get there in time? Like, we're just fucking playing with a live hand grenade at this point, hoping it doesn't go off. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. And again, they're standing there being like, "Oh, trust us." What?
A year
We should
ago,
know.
yeah.
You don't need to know. We're the smart people. What you reading for?
What you reading for, boy? Oh my god! And you have to laugh, because if you don't laugh, you cry or you become
Oh, God.
enraged to no
Yeah.
end, and that shit just kills you from the inside. It just gives
Laughing is
you.
the only way I deal with the pain.
Well, it is. I mean, like, all jokes aside, like, we have to, because it's so ridiculous on its head. You can't help but laugh. I mean, how? How is it that we have 3 incidents where where potential terrorist attacks are thwarted within several months' time? Like, how does that happen? Why is this such a fucking epidemic? Why is this happening?
I wonder what story comes out tomorrow.
Like, unbelievable. And they're talking about the dumbest shit. They're talking about the absolute most asinine shit.
Well, did you see one of the articles earlier was about how Taylor Swift is, yeah, that one.
Taylor Swift's
Well,
cultural
Taylor Swift's
impact.
cultural impact is
Oh
helping
my
to
God.
shake up the women's sport landscape.
Reclined seats, bare feet, and cans of tuna. The do's,
Yep.
don'ts, and absolutely nots of air travel. Aware pods for women are satire, but new poll on safety fears shows why they aren't funny. Canada puts its Billie Jean King Cup title on the line this week. Intimacy educator answers some big questions about sex. Who fucking cares? Who fucking fuck right off? Fuck right off. Take a long walk off a short pier. Jesus Christ. These people think that they deserve some kind of recognition or respect.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Well, journalism is so respectable. Yeah, when you do it right.
Democracy dies in darkness, James. Democracy dies in darkness. It dies in darkness, dude. If we let it go dark, if we let the flame of democracy through
This
the
is the
protection
hero
of the
complex
media,
I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are the paladins of justice and righteousness, and be damned anyone who stands in our way. Like,
yeah, so don't be surprised if people are supporting Trump. Like, you're only doing it at your own peril. Like, anybody at this point that is confused as to why Trump got elected or why Trump-like figures are getting so much popularity, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
you're not paying attention. You're just not paying attention.
I don't know what to tell you. And I don't look, I just want to say I don't think those people are stupid. I don't
No.
think that they're necessarily moronic. It's just that right now, of all times, like it has never been more important to have alternative streams of information, um, just in your vicinity somehow. Like it has never been more important because as the corporate media continues to die, as their ratings continue to tank, as these companies continue to foreclose and fire people and just, I don't know, do anything they can to survive. As this goes on, they're going to dig their heels in and they are not going to adapt until some rich podcaster just straight up buys them out and uses their fucking studio to shoot video of them talking to OnlyFans whores or whatever the fuck, because that's essentially what's gonna happen. That's essentially what's gonna happen. Like a Joe Rogan level dude who's also a douche is gonna come out and is gonna film compilations of big titted women and Gorlock the Destroyer talking about how men are the worst and how sex, like whatever the fuck, just that slop content. And they're gonna buy out a CNN studio just because they fucking can, because they're sponsored by OnlyFans or whomever the fuck, and they have way more money than they know what to do with. Like that's what's gonna happen if things just keep going this way, and we're gonna be able to start seeing these people on TV instead of just the internet. Like
That's gonna be you and me, man. We're gonna buy out CBC.
no,
That's the dream right now.
Keep me away from those OnlyFans whores. I don't want any of that. Niche. I want
That's
none of
not
that
what I
nonsense.
meant.
I want none of that nonsense. I do
I
not
was
want to meet
talking about
Gorlock.
our fucking streaming and podcast.
Oh yeah, dude. This is the path. This is it. CBC. If anyone from CBC is listening to this, okay, I am
We're
making it.
coming.
We're coming. All right, we're coming. Get those fucking offices swept. Get my desk clean. My
Pack your
secretary.
shit.
My secretary better be hot. Fucking, I better get unlimited coffee. What? I don't.
I want at least 3 interns, and I want 2 of them to act like little bitches.
I want a live camera on me at all times, live streaming to a channel. All right. I want somebody to
I want
follow
a
me.
gold urinal. Like,
Gold
just
urinal.
start demanding ridiculous shit.
I want a taco bowl. Okay.
I want a taco bar. I want a bar in there with a dedicated guy. All right.
Yeah.
And you know what his nationality is, and he makes some fine ass tacos.
That's right. And I want to fire 600 people and then give my executives $18 million in bonuses. That's what I want to do. Has that been done before? I don't know if it has. Has it?
I don't know. That may be a first.
I can't tell. Maybe. Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe it has
fuck
been done
me.
before.
That's on the level of Trudeau giving himself the raise during fucking COVID. Like what?
Did he give
People
himself
aren't
a
working.
raise?
Everybody's on fucking CERB. The economy's going down the shitter. We all know because of it. He gave himself a raise.
He gave him? No, he what?
Yeah, he
Hold on.
did.
No
or am I
way.
mixing up my timelines because
No way.
time doesn't feel real anymore?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no.
Oh.
This is automatic based on legislation passed in 2005.
Okay, no, that's not the number I was.
Okay.
Wait, what's that one?
What?
Yeah, okay, I'm mixing up my timelines. April 1st of 2023. That's still pretty fresh, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, even the raise aside, like, yeah, like this climate that is being built in the nation as people get more and more suppressed, as this idea that anyone that challenges the status quo is a racist, sexist, homophobe, and goes against all norms of public convention. All it's doing is it's giving, number one, it's pushing people away. Number two, it's giving extremists coverage to act on their desires. Which, like, let's be real, extremists are not limited to any race or creed or religion or anything. Like, this isn't something that is segregated in any way, shape, or form. Oh, hello? Can you hear me now?
You're cutting
Hello?
out a little bit there, buddy.
Oh, you were cutting out there for a second too. How's that?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound fine sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you sound glitchy. Just keep talking.
Yeah,
we
that was
missed
very, that
a
was
we
very
missed a whole
strange.
lot of what you just said, so you may want to back up a bit.
Oh, shit. Okay. Trying to. What was the last thing that you heard? Oh, right.
Raises
Okay.
aside.
No, no. That the ability to become radicalized and the ability to become an extremist is not limited to your race, your creed, your religion, skin color, whatever. It's not limited to any of that. These are ideas, and ideas, just like in that. I realize this is cheesy, but just like V for Vendetta said in that movie, as he quoted, ideas are bulletproof, and they're a virus. Okay, they can't be stopped. Once you have an idea in your head and it's implanted, and there's some kind of emotional weight attached to it, that idea can propel you in whichever direction. But it can propel you. It can force you to do things that you'd never considered doing. So the more that the more that the establishment and the status quo and the political and cultural elite keep forcing people into these boxes and keep forcing these definitions on them, that freedom is far right, that anyone that disagrees with massive immigration is a racist, that anyone that does not want to take a mystery juice fucking potion into their arm twice every year on the year, every single flu season, is a fucking denier of science. The more that you keep pressing these ideas, the more you're just going to be pushing out the extreme elements of society. And it's only a matter of time before somebody takes matters into their own hands and does something extremely drastic. Like the political temperature in Canada is so bad that during I'm pretty sure it was was it the last election where people were just straight up throwing rocks at Trudeau? Hello? How about now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? How about now?
Talk
How about
again?
now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. What was the last thing that you heard?
Oh god, I can't even remember now.
Okay, I'll I'll make this point. Well, that's not, you're gonna have a bit of a laugh. I I turned off my VPN and
Oh, oh my god!
I've had
What
it
did
on. I've had it on this
I
whole
even?
time. I've had it on this whole
I
time.
thought you said you got rid of that thing because
I got a new
I
one.
said it as a joke. You got a new one.
I got
Yeah,
a new one.
fabulous.
I got a new VPN.
Fabulous.
And I turned it on while streaming.
I wonder why we had the issues at the beginning of the stream too.
Yeah, I wonder. That's so strange.
Mm.
Anyways, as I was saying, extremism is not limited to a race or a creed or a specific group of people. Extremism is an idea that can be fomented, and ideas are bulletproof and they are infectious, and that they can propel you to do things that you had never thought that you would be capable of doing before, so long as there is enough emotional weight attached to them. So the more that these people, and by these people I mean anyone that's decried um, any number of hateful labels for pointing out the obvious and for noticing patterns in society that are leading to the decline of the nation, not even just their nation, but their neighborhoods, their livelihoods, their businesses, their wages, their health care, their quality of life. Anybody that goes against it on a public enough level gets castigated and labeled as far right, extremist, racist, sexist, whatever the fuck, right? There's tons of these names that they just throw out there. But the more that happens, the more likely it becomes that somebody is going to become so radicalized by all of this that they're going to take matters into their own hands and do something truly drastic. And when those things happen, there there is a level from which, depending on the action, that you cannot go back from, and it's going to set a whole series of events in motion that can have drastic consequences for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like, I'm not trying to paint some picture of hyperbole being like, oh, you better stop calling us racists or we're gonna fucking riot. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like we've been saying throughout this entire podcast, there is a level of hatred and dismissal that people are willing to tolerate up to a point. And once it reaches that point, they're going to start doing things like electing people like Trump or voting people in that have Trump-like opinions, or people that they feel are just, they feel like they're making themselves heard and noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to start behaving in ways that go against social convention, because the social convention and the social contract that they're a part of is not working for them anymore. It's working against them.
Yeah, it's failed them.
It's failed them. And it's promised them to stick with us. We will take care of you. This way of life will lead to prosperity. We will do great things together. And none of that has panned out. None of that has panned out.
No.
Like, and COVID, once again, COVID is just but one example of that. COVID is but one example of that. For those that don't know, Canada is also undergoing a current scandal of foreign interference, where there have been major discoveries made in the last couple of years that during the election of, I think it was 2019 or 2020, whenever the last election was, that China and India were actively coercing people to support and vote for certain candidates above others. And these were foreign nationals that they were targeting. That's one instance. There was also another instance where China somehow secretly set up police stations, which they would use to pressure Chinese citizens that are here living abroad in Canada to, I don't know, maybe not commit crimes, but just to do things on behalf of that nation. And that's pretty fucking concerning that we have a foreign government just setting up quote unquote police stations to to surveil the citizenry.
Yeah.
That's a little concerning.
Just as a touch.
It's like if Russia started opening up fucking KGB hotspots just all
I don't
over
care if
America.
Russia starts opening up fucking shish kebab stands. Get the fuck out. What do you mean? What?
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. If a foreign government is directly involved, y'all can fuck off.
And for anyone that thinks this is far-fetched, like, here is yet again proof. Canadian police investigate Chinese police stations in Quebec. This is from BBC.
I like how they even put in quotations police stations.
Well, yeah, because they're not actually police stations, but yeah. Yeah, here it is.
How do you have unsanctioned police stations fucking pop up? How does that happen?
Yeah, here's another article that just came out a couple of weeks ago on October 30th. China compromised Canadian government networks and stole valuable info. So these people that are in charge right now, the ones that are going through all these scandals, these are the people that we're supposed to trust. These are the people that we're supposed to put our faith in. These are the people that we think that have our best ideals in mind. You can't even protect national security, and you want to make the argument that you know what's best for me? Where the fuck do you get off? What sense does that make?
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know what mental gymnastics you had to pull off to convince yourself that this is the correct way things should be done, but all right.
Like, how do you justify that? Like, what are you even on? I don't understand. How can you even say that? Why do you think that you deserve the public trust after failing your own people so badly and repeatedly? I don't know, man. I have more questions than answers here.
Yeah. Seems how we always end up.
For now, I mean, like, slowly, like, the good thing is, like, as we've been saying, like, look, not to get like too doom and gloom about it, because ultimately a lot of this stuff, a lot of these news stories that we've been talking about, it is a white pill. Because like we're able to read all this. Me and you are able to sit here and have this conversation and pull articles from just basic keyword searches, not even like naming names, not naming government officials, the organizations that are responsible for this. We just type in a couple of words into a search engine, which is perplexity.ai. I love Perplexity. Use perplexity.ai. It's free. It's amazing. We're able to use perplexity.ai and we're able to just see the lies and cover-ups and obfuscation of the truth happen in real time. Like that's one of the great things about living in this moment, is that we don't have to take them on their word. We can quote unquote do our own research, or as Jimmy Dore called it, reading.
I was gonna make the
Right?
same joke.
Right? We can do our own research and read and see for ourselves. And what a lot of people are seeing is that the facts aren't adding up as we're being told. And they've had enough. And you know, America had its moment, but the world is having its moment, because this isn't just happening here. This is happening in Argentina. This is happening in El Salvador. This is happening in Italy. This is happening in Germany. This is happening in just about any developed nation in the world. Just about every single one is going through a version of this, where they're able to look back on what their government and political and cultural elite have done and realize that they do not have their best interests in mind. And people are slowly and slowly waking up to this fact, and we are about to witness, I believe, an age like no other, where these stories and these narratives are no longer going to be sustainable, and people are going to be able to call them out and prove them wrong with lightning efficiency, especially thanks to platforms like X. Especially thanks to platforms like X. And we're headed towards something great, a renewal. It feels like. Because say what you want about Trump and his policies, say what you want about all that. Look, the man's got Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, RFK Jr., Joe Rogan, Dave Smith. These people are serious people. They're not jokes. These people are capable. They're smart. They understand the feeling of the moment. And whatever change they end up affecting, or whatever they end up doing, I can't wait to see how it all plays out, because finally someone else is getting the reins. Someone else is getting ahead of the story, and that's able to just inform people of the truth of what's going on. And yeah, they're going to get it wrong, and Trump's going to say a lot of shit, and he's going to clown world leaders, and the news media is going to paint him as a racist. Like, yeah, okay, we saw the first 4 years and how they went. Sure. But I'll take that any day. I'll take that any day over listening to the establishment figures. I'd much rather have a person like Trump in power, because at least he's more funny.
Yeah. Yeah, at least he's more entertaining.
At least he's more entertaining. So yeah, I mean, look, everything that we went through with COVID, and even before that, at least now there's a lot of vindication going on. There's a lot of people that are waking up to this fact that just all the narratives of the past, or at least a good portion of them, are not as they come to be real. They're not real. They're not as real as we were told. And that matters.
Yeah, very much so. And that brings us back to the original point of being like, all we're asking for is some sense of, you know, some kind of genuine, trusting individual to be able to just say, hey, this is what's happening. It's the same argument we had with COVID earlier on, and saying like, look, I would have trusted the government more if they had come out and said, listen, this is what's happening. we don't know exactly what the deal is yet. We don't know how bad it is. We know nothing about this. So these are the precautions we're taking. Okay. Rather than just coming out going like, nope, this is what we're doing. We're shutting this down. You're not allowed to buy this. We're like, what the fuck?
Can't buy kettle.
Can't buy a fucking kettle.
Can't buy kettle. Can't buy kids' clothes.
God forbid. I want to make some tea.
Can't buy. What else did we see? Can't buy a Soda Stream.
Mm-hmm.
Can't buy greeting cards. Greeting cards are not allowed.
No.
Oh, can't buy cleaning supplies for your car. Cleaning your car is not allowed.
Or bicycles for your kids, or
Golf courses closed down.
mm-hmm.
The single greatest sport when it comes to social distancing is forbidden across the entire province during the summer, mind you. So that's great.
Gardening centers closed down. So
Gardening
fuck you
centers
if you
closed
want to, get outside and get some vitamin D.
Yep. Can't take the train, but you can certainly take the bus, which
Makes total sense, by the
Yep.
way. It's a whole different sardine can.
yeah.
Right?
COVID.
They opened the front window. They removed the windshield of the bus so that air could just blow through there, and there's no chance, right?
Well, I mean, everybody knows that the natural predator of COVID is the bus, is the double-decker bus.
Oh fuck! I
It's a
totally
double-
forgot.
It's a double-decker bus. See, that's what they should have put in the
And
vaccine. They
here
should have
we
put
see the double decker in its natural habitat.
They should have put like little double-decker buses in the vaccine, dude. They should have fucking miniaturized them and put them in there.
Oh, dude, that's totally what they did.
Yeah.
Some of those double decker buses crashed, and that's why people had like facial paralysis.
Oh. Is that why?
We were putting it all together, man. It was the answer the whole time.
Fuck, man.
Buses.
Can't believe I didn't think of that, man. Can't believe I didn't. Or cars, your own car if you had your own car. Yeah, probably.
No. You have to wear your own mask while you're driving.
Oh, that's true, right? Yeah.
If you're driving alone, you got to wear a mask.
Yeah, you have to. It's the law. It's the law.
It's what it is.
It's the law.
COVID is everywhere.
Dude, I remember when I was going
except
to
inside my mask.
except inside my mask. I remember I was going to the mall once, and I guess I got too close to this old guy while he was opening the door. Dude looked back at me and loudly just like yelled, "Could you stand a little closer?" I just laughed. I was like, "Oh my god, you're like fully bought into this. Like you think that you're gonna die if I fucking sneeze on you."
Yeah.
I should have fucking spit on him right then and there.
No, see, that's the kind of shit that gets you thrown in jail.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What you do is you stand on his toe and you get right up in his nose. You just stand there and stare deeply into his soul.
You do like the cartoon, like you're about to sneeze, like yeah. Just keep running after him.
Wait, come here.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ, man. What a shit show that was.
Mm-hmm.
Or an absolute shit show. So yeah, man, look, that's why I openly celebrate anytime that corporate media outlets get shut down or people get fired or they lose their job. Because you did it. Okay? You were complicit. You were complicit in COVID. You were complicit in all these different scandals that are being ignored. Sure, you can make the argument that, like, oh, they're just part of a system, they're just individuals. Everybody has a choice at the end of the day, and you made your choice to keep working for those organizations. I have no sympathy for you. I have no sympathy for these people.
No.
None whatsoever. I'm sure there's fine people that work there that don't agree with their opinions and all that, and they might be stuck in it because it's just the only experience they have. Sure, but like, look, realistically, in this day and age, there's so many opportunities for people. For fuck's sake, like, we're recording a podcast, and yeah, we might not have a single viewer in here. We're just talking to ourselves, but like, that's how every single one of these ventures got started. That's how Joe Rogan got started. That's how all these different stories and podcasts got started. Just people talking, and now they're bigger than life. Like, everyone has a choice to make here. And if they want to keep making the choice of doing it, fine. Fine. Keep throwing these words, keep throwing these slurs, keep calling us fucking anti-vaxxers and readers and all this shit. Fine. By all means. But don't be surprised when somebody like Trump comes along or when people get pissed off that they just completely lose all credibility for you. Or when you lose all credibility for them, rather. You get what you fucking deserve. You get what you fucking deserve. Like right now, we're in the like they fucked around. Now we're in the find out era. Now we're living through the find out era, and we are gonna find some shit out.
I fucking hope so.
No, we are, man. I believe it. I have faith. I really do. Especially thanks to, like I said before, especially thanks to platforms like X, where we can have conversations like this, where news is typically broken first thing, where people can get community noted. Even the fucking owner of the platform, Elon Musk, gets community noted on the regular. Yeah, we need more of that. And yeah, I'm just glad to see that the mood is changing worldwide, that the systems of old are dying slowly but surely, and that alternatives are being built, and that people are taking agency of their lives, and that ultimately we're headed on on a much more constructive path. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be one hell of the next 4 years, man.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
It's gonna be a real fun ride, especially when fucking Trudeau gets fucking kicked out of office. I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait. I'll write myself in as a candidate if I have to. If I don't like anyone else.
Hell yeah. I'd vote for you.
White pill for prime minister. You heard it here first, folks.
Jesus.
White pill for prime minister.
Don't do that.
Put me in there, coach.
You'll end up the second Trumpening.
Dude, they're gonna call me a Russian asset the moment I get in.
Are you fucking for real with a name like yours? 100%.
Yeah, they're gonna call me a Russian asset the moment I get in.
With your ethnic background?
Yeah. But that's okay. Our plans take centuries.
That's okay. We're coming for the CBC first.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Then we're coming
CBC.
for Parliament.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah. We're taking CBC. We're hollowing it out, turning it into our own little playhouse, frat house. Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. CBC for the boys.
Hell yeah.
Chillin', beer, and chillin'. That's what it's gonna stand for. CBC. That's what the CBC is gonna stand for once we get in power.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's the chill zone, and then we take Parliament and we just fill it with strippers. And when you need a break, you head on down to the Byward where CBC's located.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna make
fuck.
Canada great again, dude. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We should not be in charge.
Bro, we'd run this shit. Are you serious?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, straight into the ground.
Hey, at least we be honest. At least we be honest.
Yeah, very true.
At least, like,
hey, what happened to the budget? I spent it all on tacos. It was $200 million. It was a lot of fucking tacos. I don't know what to tell you.
No, not even that. Just like going up to a news conference and Prime Minister of Italy said this or this about a trade agreement. Like,
what do
honestly,
you think,
man?
I think the man has said those words, and
no, not even that. Not even that far. Just be like, I don't know, man. I genuinely don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm gonna get one of my assistants on it. And he's gonna write me up a little summary after this news conference, and I'll tweet something out. You know, see how I'm feeling.
Tweet something out.
Tweet something out. I'll see how I'm feeling.
Feeling cute today.
Yeah.
Duck face, like
yeah.
Fucking Prime Minister.
Yeah. Yeah. At this rate, I'll take
Mr.
that.
Mr. Prime Minister, you're not allowed to be on Snapchat anymore.
Bro, my streaks. But what about my streaks?
Get off Tinder.
What do you mean? The birth rate is plummeting. I gotta do my part. Come on, dude. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I want to end it off. I know we've been here on for almost 4 hours now. But no, I am optimistic for how things are gonna go, because it's like we were talking about. Their strategy is not sustainable. You can only lie for so long until people rise up, or at least are aware enough of what's going on that they just straight up will not promote or support your policies because they just don't make any fucking sense. And we're seeing that in America. We're seeing that across the nation, or Jesus Christ, across the globe, where people are electing more and more and more of these leaders that are just pointing out all the failures of the past and trying to set a new course forward. I'm excited. I'm excited. We've been missing this kind of dynamism from the world stage for a very, very long time. And now the tide is slowly turning, and Jesus fucking Christ. The most famous comedian on the planet interviewed who is now arguably the most powerful man on the planet. Okay, from a podcast that started with guys, as Joe Rogan said, getting way too high on air and just talking shit. Like, they literally just used to get stoned out of their fucking minds, just taking rips and rips and rips from their bongs, taking massive edibles on stream, and just fucking vegging out and talking shit about aliens and conspiracy theories and wrestling. Like, that's how it all just started. And now it's the single most popular show on the planet.
Yeah.
Come on, man. How could you not be
Wild.
optimistic for the future?
Yeah, well, they're gonna have a fun time down south, that's for sure.
And we're gonna have a fun time up north. This shit's gonna spread.
Eventually.
Eventually, it'll
Our
reach us.
cancer's still here. We need to get rid of that first.
Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. But yeah, no, the tide is turning. We'll sign off here. Congratulations to our brothers down south. We're fucking rooting for you. Please make it as entertaining as possible, because this shit is hilarious to watch from up here. Thanks for anyone that tuned in. Appreciate you coming down, James, making time out of your day for this. This was a really good conversation that we had here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah. And planning on making this a weekly thing every Wednesday, sometime in the evening, probably around same time, 6 or 7 p.m. or so. So tune in for next week, I guess. I don't know what we're going to cover, but
yeah,
I'm sure
we'll see if we can get the stream right.
Yeah,
maybe next time it'll be smoother, you know. Maybe next time somebody will turn off their VPN. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22 on that one.
Less than hey man, these are growing pains, all right? Microphones are hard.
VPNs are hard, bro.
Plugging stuff into USB ports, like what does that even mean, man? Like, what does that even mean? I'm so confused.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean, man? Come on. I'm just a guy, okay?
That's a deep question.
I'm just a guy. Okay,
USBs, what are they?
Yeah, what are they even? But yeah, it's been a fun time. Thanks for coming by. Love to have you on. And yeah, see you guys next week, I guess.